Have you ever seen such a terrible system? Other comics start with either a prestigious righteous sect, where everything is upright and just, or an invincible protagonist. They can control dragons or wield swords. Even if it's a son-in-law, he starts out surrounded by beautiful women. But the protagonist here not only comes from a demonic sect, but is also constantly abused by his trashy father and stepmother. In order to survive, he's doing everything he can just to scrape by. I slaved away saving money for 18 years, finally activating the system, and it's a freaking idiotic system. Not only is it idiotic enough to go and steal the great demon's pills, but it also attracted a she-demon to me. I'm having my vital essence drained every day. Just a short while ago, the protagonist was just a 21st century internet addict. It was all because of being trolled in a ranked game at the upper level. In the end, he was so angry that he spat blood. His lungs exploded and he died. The male protagonist, enraged, accidentally arrived in a world where one could cultivate immortality. Thinking that he had crossed over, he was about to start his beautiful life of cheating. However, he found out that he had been reborn into the demon sect. Even more tragically, as he grew older, the male protagonist gradually learned of his father's prodigious skill with women, his stepmother's kindness and gentleness. In order to survive until he could activate the system, the male protagonist decided to live a life of cautious self-preservation. Just as the male protagonist was fantasizing about his future kingly life, a basin of 1982-foot washing water splashed onto his face, giving him a thorough chilling. It turns out she is the stepmother's head maid. She is currently arranging work for him with a sleepy face. The male lead wasn't angry at all. Instead, he secretly felt lucky. Another day of successfully surviving. After the male lead finished cleaning the servant's outhouse, he dug out his little secret stash hidden in the room. He looked at the 300 spirit stones in front of him. The male protagonist has been waiting for 18 years. Finally, Ivy saved enough to activate the system. I immediately shouted in my heart, "Come out, my system. I'm going to start showing off." What happened next was unexpected. The system did come out, but what appeared before my eyes was the Windows 95 operating system. Looking at it, it is full of flaws. The system's interface for Windows 95 hasn't been optimized at all. The male lead was speechless. He thought to himself, well, it's better than nothing. Let's check out the martial arts that can be cultivated. He flipped through for a long time. He only found one family martial art, the bone-strengthening art, that could be practiced. He took another look at the time required for cultivation. He felt speechless. Damn, the first level requires 10 years. It would take 100 years to reach the third level. Thinking about living to 100 years old, just to learn a basic martial art. The intelligent male protagonist was completely desperate when suddenly, during cultivation, the system screen suddenly popped up with a few large characters. Cultivation. Intelligent duration. Cultivation. It must be the system feeling sorry for me and appearing on purpose. The 18 years of humiliation are finally coming to an end. The days of bloodshed for every disagreement across 3,000 miles are about to begin. The male protagonist involuntarily pressed the button. Congratulations, host. One-click hosting successful. Intelligent upgrade activated. The male protagonist's body instantly lost control. He was controlled by the system and began practicing the bone forging technique. The spiritual energy around him surged into his body. The male protagonist sighed. This system is just too satisfying. Simply amazing. It's impossible to stop. Forget about any interfaces or whatever. This is the conscience system within the system. Just as the male protagonist was marveling at the system's conscience, a dialog box suddenly popped up, about to break through to the next level. Detected missing quenching bone pill. Please wait, the male lead thought. Even the big shots of the entire P-clan sect don't have many quenching bone pills. I'm an unfavored disciple of a minor branch. Where am I going to get quenching bone pills? Just then, the system popped up another prompt: analysis complete. The system will give 10 quenching bone pills for free. What the asterisk asterisk asterisk? This system is actually giving me 10. However, just as the male protagonist was marveling at the system's generosity, his body, controlled by the system, stood up and started sprinting towards the outside at 120 miles per hour. The male protagonist was instantly shocked. What the F asterisk asterisk asterisk? I've been a coward for 18 years, and I've never run so wildly in this yard before. Damn system, don't you dare harm me. The protagonist never expected that even more despair was yet to come. His body, controlled by the system, actually ran straight to the demon lord's residence. The protagonist's mind was flooded with 1,000 curses. I've been hiding for 18 years, and I didn't even dare to look at this demon lord's door. Damn system, Donnie, lead me to my death. Just how arrogant is this male lead? He kicks open the gate of the sect's Grand Demon Head's courtyard. He kicks it open. He even brazenly runs into the Grand Demon Head's house to wreck the place. He even eats the Grand Demon Head's top-grade pills without a second thought. Who would have thought that such arrogant behavior wasn't his intention? It turns out the male lead had just obtained an intelligent cultivation system. During intelligent cultivation, his body would be taken over by the system and would no longer be under his control. What baffled him was This damn stupid system actually directly controlling his body. It brought him to the residence of the sex big demon and kicked open the courtyard gate with one blow. The male lead shivered in fear. You see, the Cha-Ming sect is the most terrifying existence in this world. They kill without hesitation. Especially the master of this mansion, Zhang Jingshan. He was a parasite who killed his master, a role model for our demonic sect. While the male lead was contemplating, the system actually dragged the male lead's body straight towards the inner courtyard and arrived in front of a small house. It punched through the demon lord's door. The male lead instantly felt like he wanted to die. What the hell, such a big noise? Alerted the demon lord inside. It wouldn't be long before he'd be done for. The system doesn't care what he thinks. It controls as the male lead walks confidently into the room. After looking around, he can't help but sigh deeply. Fortunately, the big villain isn't here. Looking at the room's furnishings, this Zhang Jingshan is still an old pervert. Such an alluring maid screen. At this moment, the system controlled the male lead. He walked straight toward the nearby cabinet. He opened the drawer. A bottle of pills suddenly popped out of the drawer. Then a system notification sounded in his ear. The system's gift of 10 bone refining pills has been used up. Damn it. Other systems' gifts are given from the system mall. You freaking gave it directly from someone else's house. Can the system be a little more honest? Before the male lead could finish complaining, the system controlled the male lead to swallow the entire bottle of pills. The male lead wanted to die. These are Zhang Jingshan's pills. Make me spit them out. The system ignored him. He sat cross-legged right there, extremely arrogantly seated at the crime scene. He began to cultivate the body-tempering scripture. The male lead exclaimed, exciting. Since he was powerless to resist, he could only passively enjoy it. You know what? After eating the bone-tempering pill, it's obvious that the cultivation speed has increased by more than 10 times. In less than half an hour, my cultivation soared. I reached the 3rd level of Kai refining. Just as the protagonist marveled at the bone-tempering pills, wondering how effective they were, a system notification suddenly popped up. This cultivation task has been successfully completed. Host satisfied. Please leave a 5-star rating. The male protagonist's mind instantly raced with 10,000 raging alpacas. It's finally over. A 5-star review, you think you deserve that? With that, he raised his middle finger. Just then, the male protagonist heard a woman's laughter. He looked around, but there was no one in sight. Suddenly, the maids on the screen behind him came to life. With graceful cheers, they welcomed him. Young master, come play. Facing the constant teasing from the beauties, the male lead was about to fall for it. He was just about to go in and stir things up, but suddenly remembered his 18 years of virginity. How could he lose it here? He hurriedly dodged backward. With a few swift movements, he flipped and found his way outside the courtyard. Luckily, the back wall was secluded and no one noticed. He took Zhang Jingshan's bone-refining pill. I can't stay in this sect anymore. Looks like I'll have to go on the run from now on. At this moment, what are you doing at the back wall of Bayou Courtyard? How unfortunate is the male lead in front of me? Just now, he was controlled by the system. He directly overturned the mansion of the magic sect leader, Zhang Jingshan, and even stole Zhang Jingshan's top-tier elixirs. He barely escaped, but was caught by the family's steward. Faced with the steward's interrogation, the male protagonist awkwardly made up an excuse. He quickly asked the steward what orders he had. To his surprise, the steward impatiently told him, Zhang Jingshan and the family head are gathering everyone for an emergency meeting. If you're late, you'll be punished by the family rules. As soon as the words were spoken, the male lead had already rushed off. It turns out that the family rules in the manor meant the male lead was often beaten as a child. He knows exactly what that feels like. Just thinking about it makes him shudder. On the road, I suddenly thought that Zhang Jingshan just returned and held a family meeting. He probably doesn't know that I stole his bone-cleansing pills. Not long after, the male lead arrived at the mansion's meeting hall. He walked into the room. Zhang Jingshan sat in the center, while the family head sat behind him. At this moment, the family head spoke to Zhang Jingshan. All disciples of the clan are already here. Please give your instructions, immortal master. Zhang Jingshan glanced sideways at everyone and said, Our sex traitor, Wu Tingxi, has just fled to Yuanla Mountain. You all should immediately enter the mountain and search. Anyone who finds a trace will be rewarded with 50 bone-tempering pills. Everyone was shocked upon hearing this. No wonder it's the Cha-Ming sect. They are generous with their rewards. Even the family head beside them was stunned by such a generous reward. Zhang Jingshan's expression showed slight anger. What are you all standing there for? Why aren't you acting quickly? Upon hearing this, the family head immediately stepped forward and explained, Immortal Master, please don't misunderstand. We've just heard that Wu Tingxi has already reached the 7th level of Kai refining, while the strength of the Fu family disciples is still minimal. I'm afraid they are no match for him. As Zhang Jingshan, upon hearing this, stated that Wu Tingxi was already seriously injured. Even a cultivator who has just begun their path could capture him. You only need to report his whereabouts immediately upon discovery. Someone will capture him. After saying this, he snapped his fingers. Wu Tingxi's figure then materialized. Xing Jingshan warned everyone to watch carefully. Don't make a mistake then. Everyone immediately echoed, saying they would follow the immortal master's orders. Seeing everyone begin to act, Xing Jingshan got up to leave. The patriarch on the side wanted to invite Xing Jingshan to stay for tea, but Xing Jingshan refused without hesitation. Meanwhile, the male lead was thinking, the highest cultivation level is the patriarch's. The highest cultivation level is Pei, who is at Kai refining level 7. As long as he wants, he could easily slaughter the city. With this incident happening, it's basically a perfect opportunity to escape. He just dismantled Xing Jingshan's residence. If he's caught, he'd be refined into a magic weapon. Scene transition. Xing Jingshan arrived alone in front of a mansion. He quietly asked to see someone inside. Through the crack in the door, he could vaguely see a woman with a seductive figure inside. Beret? Xing Jingshan immediately felt dizzy and collapsed to the ground. Soon a voice came from inside. Have they caught him? Hearing this, Xing Jingshan broke into a cold sweat. I quickly informed that Wu Tingxi has fled to Yuan Lashan. I have already sent the Zhuang family to search. Inside the room, a woman's cold voice said, useless. I will give you 3 more days. If you don't bring me the 6 desires secret tongue, I will extract your soul and use it to refine a weapon. I've never seen such an arrogant person. Exeromica refining 3rd level. He actually dared to blatantly steal the elixir of a 7th layer cultivation expert. Not only did he steal the elixir in front of him, but he even arrogantly sat in front of the expert and continued cultivating. The expert was so angry that he almost killed him on the spot. Just a moment ago, the male protagonist had just destroyed the demon sect expert's mansion. He was about to escape when he was sent to Yuan Lashan by Xing Jingshan, who was completely unaware, to search for the traitor Wu Tingxi. But he encountered the 2 senior brothers who were also searching. Helpless, the male lead quickly and flusteredly claimed that he had already searched this area. No abnormalities were found. An opportunity not to be missed. Now is the perfect time to escape. Take advantage of the dimming sky. Just disguise yourself and head down the mountain path. You can then run to the neighboring town and start your life of survival. First, run to a place. From then on, the sea is vast, letting the fish leap freely. The sky is high, allowing the birds to fly freely. Thinking this, the male lead couldn't help but feel a surge of secret delight. He looked at the city gates drawing closer. The male lead couldn't help but begin to feel excited, but his joy soon turned to sorrow. At that moment, the male lead suddenly felt weak. It felt as if he had just spent the night with several beautiful women, and now he was completely drained. He felt a sense of weakness as if his body had been emptied. It caused him to collapse onto the ground involuntarily. The sound of decay echoed in his ears. He couldn't help but recall the strange lady screen he had seen while fleeing beneath Xing Jing's mansion. Behind, a group of demonized women appeared, pressing him down with overwhelming force, leaving him powerless to resist. He could see himself being drained dry. The male protagonist has a sudden idea. He silently activates the intelligent cultivation system in his mind. Immediately, a voice from the system is heard in his ears. Intelligent cultivation system at your service. In an instant, his body is taken over by the system. Under the system control, his body suddenly grows stronger. He starts hammering the female ghost on him. As expected with the system, anything is possible. Then those female ghosts couldn't suck my vital energy. Just then, I heard the system's prompt in my ear. Detected that the host's blood and Kai are severely depleted. 3 Kai and blood pills are gifted for free. The male lead was startled. What the hell? Last time you said the system would gift pills, but it turned out to be stealing pills from a demon sect big shot to gift to me. I had to run away. Whose stuff am I going to steal this time? He shouted no. But his body honestly turned around, towards Mount Yuanlao from where he had just escaped. He ran wildly away. The scene shows Wu Tingxi, the traitor, healing his wounds in a mountain cave. He was lamenting how he had ended up in such a situation. He took out the only ordinary Kai blood pill he had. He was about to swallow it to heal his injuries. Just as Wu Tingxi was about to swallow it, the male lead had already appeared inside the cave. The male lead quickly ran up behind Wu Tingxi. He leaped into the air, performing an aerial ballet while saying, "Give it to me." I snatched the pill Wu Tingxi was about to swallow. I immediately picked it up and swallowed it. Exactly 3 pills, no more, no less. At this time, the system also prompted Kwai and blood pill delivery complete. The sudden situation directly stunned Wu Tingxi. What puzzled him most was, the male lead was still sitting in front of him, cultivating with extreme arrogance. After all these years, I've never seen such an arrogant person. Not only did he steal my elixir for cultivation, the keys at this person is only the 3rd level of Kai refining. Can't take this. Wu Tingxi immediately went crazy. I'm gonna kill you. This male lead just stole Wu Tingxi's elixir, and didn't even run away. He took medicine and cultivated in front of Wu Tingxi. His actions directly shocked Wu Tingxi. She grabbed the bottle and smashed it at the male lead. Then she struck the male lead with a 5 poisons palm. The male lead instantly flew dozens of meters like a shooting star. He crashed heavily into the wall. Dust filled the air. Wu-Tingxi coldly snorted, "A mere Kai condensation stage 3 cultivator? You dare act so arrogant in front of this old man." But as the dust settled, the male lead only suffered minor injuries. Wu-Tingxi was startled. "He's not dead? A mere Kai refining level 3 cultivator, taking a palm strike from me and still alive. There must be something fishy about this." Wu-Tingxi immediately activated his eyes, scanning the male lead's body. "I didn't know until I saw it. I was shocked when I saw it. This is an exceptional iron bone." Wu-Tingxi quickly questioned the male lead. "You're just at the 3rd level of Kai cultivation." The male lead was immediately startled. "Oh no. Have you been discovered? He's not going to take my bones and refine a flag, is he?" He quickly greeted with a smile. "I really didn't recognize it. I was wrong before. As for the top-grade iron bone you mentioned, I truly don't know anything about it. Wu-Tingxi has been around for so many years. How could he be fooled by a young lad like you?" He immediately said, "Stop pretending. You're practicing the Charming Sex bone forging technique. I wouldn't be mistaken. You chased me into the mountains to arrest me, didn't you?" The male lead was scared, trembling uncontrollably. He screamed, "No, we're actually on the same side." He didn't even believe his own words, let alone Wu-Tingxi. The male lead hurriedly explained, crying, "I was quite talented when I was young. However, my awful father and stepmother took turns abusing me. Later, Xing Jingshan came to stay with our family. I was momentarily out of my mind and stole 10 bone refining pills from his house to consume." Wu-Tingxi immediately reacted after hearing this. Are young people really this reckless these days? They actually dared to steal Xing Jingshan's pills. The male lead immediately responded upon hearing this. Can young people be called young if they aren't reckless? But coincidentally, Xing Jingshan wanted to kill you. He probably still doesn't know I destroyed his home and stole his pills. The male lead, seeing Wu-Tingxi convinced by his talk, hurriedly put on a charming expression and said, "We're a perfect match made in heaven. We have a common enemy, and we're both fugitives now." While speaking, he reached out to touch Wu-Tingxi. Wu-Tingxi was startled and quickly slapped the male lead's hands away. "If that's the case, then why did you still steal my pills?" The male lead explained that he had no choice. When he previously stole Xing Jingshan's pills, he was targeted by a screen at the door. I was disturbed by the female ghost in the screen. My vital essence is nearly exhausted. I had no choice but to steal your blood Kai pills. Wu-Tingxi heard that I went. "You really are so young and impetuous. You were hit by the enchanting bone Rakshasa diagram and still didn't get drained. In that case, how about we make a deal?" Previously on, Wu-Tingxi, who was won over by the male lead's words, decided to make a deal with him. Wu-Tingxi took out a manual from his chest and said, "As long as you help me escape from Mount Yuanlao, I will share this technique with you." Who would have thought? The male lead just looked indifferent and said, "Is that it? Don't bring out those common cultivation manuals and make a fool of yourself. You don't understand anything." Wu-Tingxi was about to explode in anger. This cultivation technique is something Xing Jingshan and the others have always wanted, but could never obtain their unattainable dream. Xing Jingshan slaughtered our entire sect for this man. I only managed to escape by luck. The male lead was not at all moved by Wu-Tingxi. Instead, he said some sarcastic remarks. "He wants it, just give it to him." At this moment, a system prompt appeared. It detected an unfamiliar external martial art, and the system is recording it. The male lead sighed, "What a conscientious system. It even has this function." Meanwhile, Wu-Tingxi, but he had a face full of anger, as if he didn't believe anything I just said. "Do you not believe me? If that's the case, then I'll take back the manual. This deal's off." Seeing this, the male protagonist quickly brought out his shameless nature. He went all out. He started licking Wu-Tingxi like crazy. Wu-Tingxi truly is an experienced veteran. Faced with the male lead's sudden 180-degree turn, he was filled with confusion. He immediately struck the male lead on the head with a hand chop and said that as long as you sincerely help me escape, this skill will eventually be yours. Saying this, he was about to tuck the secret manual into his chest. At this critical moment, the system's prompt sounded again. "Martial technique collection complete. Please name the technique." "Name it my foot. Escaping is the priority right now. I'll just call it the Nameless Technique." Just as the protagonist sighed, finally finishing the collection, Wu-Ting said, "Kid, help the old man out." The male lead is speechless. "I only flattered you earlier to get the manual. Now that I have the manual, don't expect me to continue playing the fool." The male lead then turned and shouted loudly to someone behind Wu-Tingxi, "Xing Jingshan, what are you doing here?" Hearing this, Wu-Tingxi quickly turned around to check, but there was no one behind him. By the time Wu-Tingxi regained his composure, the male lead had already slipped away. Wu-Tingxi was seething with rage. He immediately struck the male lead with a 5 poison palm. Luckily, the male lead was quick on his feet. He dodged with a swift blink. To despair, he found himself trapped in a dead end. Wu-Tingxi was already catching up from behind. You dare to play tricks on me? The words had barely left his mouth when a 5-poison palm strike came hurtling towards him. Seeing no way to avoid it, the protagonist could only circulate his bone-forging technique to defend with all his might. After thick smoke cleared, the male lead was surprisingly unharmed. Wu Tingxi's claimed impossible. The male lead hasn't learned any martial arts or secret techniques, so he seized the opportunity to move forward and engage Wu Tingxi in hand-to-hand combat. And Wu Tingxi was still recovering from serious injuries. He couldn't even use his 5-poison palm. Just like that, the two of them struggled for a while. The male lead seized the opportunity. He threw Wu Tingxi with a beautiful overhead throw. The immense force caused Wu Tingxi to spit out a mouthful of blood. At this point, Wu Tingxi was already exhausted and too weak to fight. The male lead walked straight up to Wu Tingxi. Wu Tingxi realized there was no escaping death. He angrily cursed, "Even if you kill me today, you will not escape death. No one can survive under the Yangle Lucha diagram." Saying this, he took out a green pill and lunged toward the male lead. The male lead saw him talking so much even though death was near, and immediately drew his sword. He struck Wu Tingxi with a piercing blow. Remembering what Wu Tingxi said, that he'd follow me to the ends of the earth, the male lead felt a chill of fear. It seems I need to find a way to deal with these female ghosts. Notice the young man before you. His name is Pei Ling. At this moment he is kneeling before the mysterious woman, seeking reward and recognition. While taking credit, he even fantasized about taking the mysterious woman into his room. Just now, Pei Ling killed the charming sect traitor, Wu Tingxi, and on Wu Tingxi's body, he found a green pill, as well as a jade slip containing secret techniques. With the spirit of why not take it if it's free, Pei Ling gathered his spoils and prepared to flee. However, as a wave of weakness washed over him, Pei Ling realized that Wu Tingxi might have been telling the truth. He had fallen victim to Zhang Jingshan's Yangu Lu Sheitu, literally, a beautiful bone rakshasa picture. If he retreated now, he would be drained of his vital essence and die. Looking at the jade slip in his hand, Pei Ling immediately had an idea. Since Guanshan valued this secret manual so much, then I will use this secret manual to make a deal with Zhang Jingshan. Talk is cheap, let's do it. Pei Ling returned to the Pai residence and asked where the head of the family, Zhang Jingshan, was. He had already found the hiding place of Wu Tingxi. To his surprise, the head of the family said that Zhang Jingshan was not in the residence, and he mentioned that, "You can tell me Wu Tingxi's location first. I'll send someone to arrest him right away." Pei Ling immediately understood. This old geezer wants to profit from the middleman's margin. This opportunity I got at the risk of my life can't be snatched away by you old fogey. Pei Ling quickly lied, claiming the terrain was complex and difficult to search. In case it delays things, our Pei family can't afford it. Seeing that Pei Ling wasn't falling for it, the head of the Pei family had no choice but to tell Pei Ling. "Although Master Jing isn't here, but Miss Lai is still in the manor. I'll take you to see Miss Li now?" Pei Ling weakly asked the head of the family. How does Miss Lai compare to Master Jing? How could he know that the master instantly moved forward and covered Pei Ling's mouth? Be cautious with your words. How could you compare Lok Sanzi to Zhang Jingshan? Lok Sanzi is a true disciple of the Chaming sect. She's also destined to be the next saintess of the Chaming sect. In Lok Sanzi's eyes, Zhang Jingshan is nothing but an ant. Not to mention you and I. Be careful when meeting Fairy Lei later. Otherwise you won't even know how you die, and you'll drag the entire city down with you. Hearing the family head say this, Pei Ling felt reassured. When giving gifts, you must find the right person. Otherwise, no matter how much you give, it's all in vain. Clearly, I have found the right person this time. The two arrived in front of a courtyard. The master, with a lecherous expression, reminded Pei Ling, "Make sure to say a few good words for the family later." He then respectfully requested an audience with Fairy Lai. Fairy Lai slowly walked out. Her graceful figure instantly made Pei Ling's mouth water. If only she could be brought into his room. How wonderful it must be. The master beside them saw Pei Ling in a daze, and quickly reminded Pei Ling to kneel and bow to Immortal Lai. Immortal Lai asked in a deep voice, "What brings you two here?" Pei Ling hurriedly explained that he'd located Wu Tingxi's position and had killed this traitor. Upon hearing this, Immortal's heart stirred. "So what did you find on him?" Pei Ling replied that aside from some elixirs, there was a jade slip. However, that jade slip was too strange, so he buried it in a secret place. At this point, Immortal Li finally understood. This is a matter of payment. She immediately asked Pei Ling what he wanted. The family head standing nearby still up to see Pei Ling ask for some benefits for the family. But to his surprise, Pei Ling, following the principle of if not for oneself, heaven and earth will punish you, directly ignored the family head's self-interest. He only begged the immortal to save his life. The one kneeling before Immortal Li is our male lead, Pei Ling. To survive, Pei Ling wants to use the location of the Six Desires secret manual to ask Immortal Li to help him get rid of the haunting female ghost. Then, Immortal Li threw a bottle of detox pill down to Pei Ling from a high position. She informed him that this bottle of detox pill could cure the 5 poison palm on his body. As for the issue with the enchanting Rakshasa painting, once I retrieve the jade slip, I will have Zhang Jing order that useless person to help you unravel it. Pei Ling was startled upon hearing this. This fairy Lee is truly formidable. She instantly saw the trace of the enchanting Rakshasa painting on me. He quickly lowered his head to express his thanks, and told him the Jade Slip's burial location. Like Xianzi heard this, with a graceful turn she vanished before them. Seeing Lianzi leave, Pei Ling immediately collapsed to the ground. Like Xianzi's strength was truly terrifying. However, the family head beside him was displeased. He angrily scolded Pei Ling. Wasn't I supposed to get favors for the Pei family? Just then, Pei Ling's Yangulusha tattoo flared up again. Pei Ling couldn't help but curse fuck again. The patriarch, seeing that Pei Ling not only didn't apologize, but instead talked back to him, was instantly filled with rage. Pointing at Pei Ling, they angrily cursed. Helpless, Pei Ling hurriedly explained. He was almost drained by the female ghost. When Lixian returns, she will speak up for you. Back in his room, Pei Ling immediately took the detox pill given by Lixiang. The poison from the 5 poison palm has been cleared, but the female ghost from the seductive bone Rakshasa diagram, it has been absorbing my essence. I'm afraid I won't last until Fairy Lai returns. To avoid being drained dry, I will activate the system to start cultivating. The system is fully committed to serving you. 2 cultivation methods have been detected. Please choose the method you wish to cultivate. Pei Ling looked at the bone forging art and the nameless art on the panel. He thought to himself, having practiced the bone refining technique twice, this damn system. The first time was to steal Zhang Jingshan's pills. The second time was to snatch Wu Tinx's pills. This time, I don't know which big shot I'll offend. Maybe I should try an unknown technique. With his mind made up, Pei Ling immediately activated the one-click auto-manage. Intelligent upgrade. In an instant, the female ghost that had been with him vanished without a trace. Some only experience a pleasure like a bath. Intelligent cultivation is really not bad. The scene changes. Outside the city, Lixianzi successfully obtained the jade slip she wanted. She was about to open it and check. Suddenly, a burst of blue light emitted from the jade slip. Lixianzi immediately sensed danger. She hurriedly threw the jade slip out of her hand. A soul emerged from the jade slip. This person was Elder Luo Kao of the outer sect of the Charming sect. How could the secret manual in her hands be easily given up by Like Xianzi? She spoke to the soul. How dare a fragment of a soul be so reckless here? Anyone who stands in the way of my growth deserves to die. Hearing this, the soul charged straight at Li Xianzi. Like Xian let out a cold snort. Overestimating his abilities, he unleashed a soul-binding lock. A purple giant aura surrounded him, instantly trapping this fragment of soul. It was unable to move. Then he cast the 5-finger 4-cage prison, sealing it completely. Lu Kai's soul realized it had no chance of winning, so he chose to be shattered rather than be left intact. He directly initiated self-destruction, wanting to destroy the 6 Desires secret. Seeing this, Fairy Lee quickly soared into the air. With lightning speed, she snatched the jade slip away. Like Xianzi, the sex saintess who had snatched the jade slip, never imagined that she would be in 10 minutes, knocked down forcefully by a junior. At this moment, Pei Ling was practicing with a single tap. What Pei Ling didn't expect was, this nameless technique was truly special. The sensation of being both ecstatic and suffocating was irresistible. Suddenly, a system notification sound rang in her ears. The cultivation technique detected is a dual cultivation method. Companion needed. A partner is required to continue cultivation. The system will give a free companion to Pei Ling, who was immediately shocked. This damn system is always like this. He was probably going to lose his virginity. As expected, the system immediately took control of Pei Ling's body. He rushed out of the house. At this moment, Pei Ling was in a panic. This damn system will never stop until it kills him. All the women in the Pei Manor are either my sisters, or the daughters of my uncles and cousins. And then there's my stepmother. Isn't this incest? However, the system of conscience doesn't care about such things. Dragging Pei Ling's body, it arrived before a manor gate. Pei Ling looked at the familiar gate before him, and was overcome with emotion. Fortunately, the women living here aren't my relatives. But what's terrifying is the master of this place. Their cultivation is truly terrifying. At the same time, I have a little anticipation. Isn't this the mansion of the sect saintess? Are they trying to kill me faster? Pei Ling said he didn't want it, but her body honestly pushed open the door. And then Pei Ling walked straight toward the saintess's room. At that moment, Immortal Li was in the critical process of healing. When she saw someone intruding, she angrily shouted, "Who is so bold? Leave at once." However, before her words could finish, Pei Ling forcefully kicked open the door. He also put out a paw. As a sex saint, Immortal Li had never seen such an arrogant junior. She was about to attack. Unexpectedly, the system controlled Pei Ling, throwing a green pill. A burst of intense green smoke erupted instantly, enveloping Immortal Li. When the smoke clears, Lixianzi struggled to say, the soul of the sevenfold trap has dispersed. Wu Tinx's trump card is actually in his hands. She then collapsed to the ground. Pei Ling saw Lixianzi fall, and stared in disbelief. This is the holy maiden of the sect. He had witnessed her terrifying cultivation level before. The system is truly incredible. Invincible. Or perhaps the Fairy Lee was severely injured when she stole the jade tablet. Before Pei Ling could finish analyzing, the system took control and made Pei Ling pick up Fairy Lie, placing her on the bed. He then casually lifted her veil. Staring at the stunning beauty before him, person who could make fish sink and birds fall, Pei Ling's heart immediately blossomed with joy. To die beneath the peony flower would still be charming even as a ghost, but reason reminded him that she was a saintess. If he touched her, wouldn't he be torn to pieces? At that moment, a system notification sounded again, partner gift complete. Continue cultivating now. Under the system's control, Pei Ling shouted loudly. His clothes instantly ripped apart, revealing a perfect display of muscles. Eager, he mounted on like Xianzi, furiously tearing at her clothes. Pei Ling looked at the saintess like Xianzi, whom he had forcefully pushed down. His heart was filled with mixed emotions. Such a stunningly beautiful saintess, any man would find it irresistible. But to force it, he risks being completely destroyed. Unfortunately, the system doesn't care about that. It controls Pei Ling's body, launching a wave of violent tearing. Then, without hesitation, he merges with the immortal Lady Lai in the dual cultivation. This dual cultivation technique is truly powerful. Just a few rounds, Pei Ling felt that his previous injuries were completely healed. His cultivation was advancing by leaps and bounds, and he could clearly feel another breakthrough imminent. He just wondered how Senior Sisterly would torment him after she woke up. Meanwhile, Senior Sisterly, lying in bed, felt a strange power continuously flowing into her body. A warm current flows through the body, cleansing every meridian. It's so warm and comfortable. As the exalted saintess, she has never experienced the joy of dual cultivation. At this moment, Immortal Lee is swept along by Pei Ling's reckless charge. Although she is unconscious, but she truly felt the pleasure of it. Pei Ling, on the other hand, was both in pain and enjoying it. He was worried for his life. Yet he was also fully immersed in the pleasure. At that moment, the dazed like Xianzi suddenly woke up. Seeing the scene before her, like Xianzi was immediately filled with extreme shame and anger. She is the holy maiden of the sect. How could she engage in such trivial acts with someone of no name? A slap was thrown at Pei Ling. But Pei Ling, controlled by the system, was quick to react. Not only did he block the senior sister Li's hand, but he also helped her flip over. What Pei Ling didn't expect was, the system even activated an acceleration. The controlled immortal Li could only feel the withered energy within her body gradually being unblocked. Her cultivation was also rapidly increasing. Could this be the warm force? Such a delightful experience. It feels like it can go even faster. Thinking of this, Immortal Li's small face flushed. Damn, how could I be so inappropriate as the holy maiden of the sect? The scene shifts. Xing Jingshen, who had just returned to the manor, learned that Wu Tingxi was dead. The secret tome of 6 desires had also been retrieved by Like Xianzi. He thought to himself, now that my senior sister has the tome, she might remember my contribution and reward me generously. A feeling pleases in, decided to act. Let the head of the Pei family go to his residence later to collect 50 bone-tempering pills. What he didn't expect was that Pei Ling had already consumed his bone-tempering pills. Looking at the empty drawer in front of him, Xing Shan was burning with anger. Who is so to steal something from me? Xing Shan? A female ghost slowly floated out from the Yangu Luxia painting behind him. She whispered in Xing Jingshan's ear, Pei Ling is currently at Fuyun Yuan. Therefore Xing Jingshan angrily rushed towards Pang Xianzi's residence, Fuyun Yuan. He was determined to tear Pei Ling to pieces. He never imagined his goddess. At this moment, Pei Ling is rolling in the sheets with the one who stole his elixir. He watches like Xianzi undresses once more. Without a care, she starts to bathe. The system prompts him to gift a Yang Yuan Dan. Pei Ling, controlled by the system, walks steadily toward like Xianzi's bed. He starts rummaging through it. Before long, he finds something beneath her torn dress. He took out a purse with a dark patterned silver lining. He skillfully retrieved a nourishing yuan pill from the purse. Pei Ling was speechless. He just wanted to live quietly and survive. But the system always made him repeatedly walk on the edge of death. With the nourishing yuan pill in hand, Pei Ling could finally move freely again. Pei Ling originally wanted to save himself by putting the Yanjuan pill back into Like Xianzi's pouch. Suddenly he heard Like Xianzi's voice from behind. What are you doing? Pei Ling was startled. It's over. There's no way to explain this now. Do you finish your bath so quickly? Helpless as Pei Ling was about to explain to Like Xianzi, when he saw Like Xianzi's face darken, a ball of purple spiritual energy instantly ignited on his palm. Seeing this, Pei Ling was so scared that he collapsed on the ground. Pei Ling tried to struggle. However, it was already too late. Like Xianzi struck Pei Ling with a palm. A terrifying mushroom cloud rose from the ground. Meanwhile, Pei Hongyun, the legitimate son of the Pei family, was kneeling before Xing Jingshan, inquiring about the 50 bone-tempering pills. Xing Jingshan was about to grant them, when a distant mushroom cloud interrupted him. Seeing such a commotion, the two hurried over to check. The scene shifted. Pei Ling, who thought he was surely doomed, slowly opened his eyes. After frantic search, she found herself completely unharmed. It turned out that senior sisterly had deliberately deflected the blow. The exact reason for deflecting it remains unknown. Perhaps it was because she remembered that Pei Ling was her first man, or perhaps it was Pei Ling's dual cultivation technique that had greatly increased her cultivation, or perhaps Pei Ling's performance had made her unable to stop herself. Just then, Xing Lingshan actually ran over with Pei Hanyan. Upon learning that the person beside Fairy Lai was Pei Ling, the obsequious Xing Jingshan immediately tattled to Fairy Lai. This person is full of tricks. Please, senior sister, punish him severely. Unexpectedly, Fairy Lai directly gave Xing Jingshan a slap. The force was so strong that it instantly knocked Xing Jingshan to the ground. Why am I always the one getting hurt when I can't even take care of myself? Clearly Xing Jingshan never understood. This is the ultimate fate of a simp. Lixianzi ignored, but somehow took out a small purple jade boat. She made a hand gesture, and the boat swelled in the wind. In the blink of an eye, it transformed into a 3-story floating ship. Suspended in mid, the immortal princess slowly walked onto the ship. She coldly ordered to return to the sect. Pei Ling saw Xing Shan walking onto the ship with Pei Hongyan's assistance. He felt a surge of joy. Finally, they're leaving. Looks like they managed to survive. Just as he was about to slip away, he noticed Immortal Li was coldly staring at him, and the sycophant Xing Shan immediately caught on. You scoundrel, why aren't you coming up here? Helpless, Pei Ling could only curl up in a corner of the tower ship, shivering. Meanwhile, 2 female ghosts whispered behind the scenes. Sister, what do you think is special about this kid? The master actually took matters into his own hands and broke the charm of the bone demon. Another female ghost said the master is far-sighted. He's not someone you or I can guess. But there's a good show to watch now. They saw Jingshan storming over, angrily questioning Pei Ling. How dare you steal my bone-refining pills? To continue from last time, Pei Ling, who was about to flee, cowering in a corner of the ship, trembling with fear. Suddenly, Xing Jingshan stormed over, furiously questioning Pei Ling. Who gave you the audacity to steal my bone-refining pills? Pei Ling, sensing the hostility, hurriedly apologized. Xing Jingshan didn't rush to strike, but first checked Pei Ling's physical condition. Sure enough, Pei Ling's body no longer shows any trace of the Yin Galusha diagram. Could it be that senior sister personally removed it? It seems senior sister highly values this boy. It's a good thing I was cautious and didn't act rashly. Pei Hanyan, on the other hand, noticed something unusual. You've already reached the 4th level of Kai refinement. You were only at the 2nd level of Kai refining 2 months ago. Hearing this, Xing Jingshan felt a wave of disappointment. He thought that reaching the 4th level of Kai refining would earn him senior sister's favor. But then he thought again, and it did indeed make sense. The bone tempering method can only be practiced once with a single bone strengthening pill. Could it be that this kid practiced it 10 times in one day? Is that why senior sister values him so much? No, I have to try his haul. Then he pulled out a large knife, swirling with ghostly aura. Pei Ling was startled. He's gonna chop me. Unexpectedly, Jingshan said, in view of your merit in apprehending Wu Tingxi, I will give you 2 a chance today. Whoever can pull this Yanqing Dao from between my 2 fingers. So who gets this knife? Pei Ling let out a breath. What's all this about knives? As long as it's not used on me. But Pei Hanyan was eager to try. He strained with all his might, yet still couldn't pull it out. Instead, he was injured by the blade's energy. When it was Pei Ling's turn to draw the knife, Pei Ling repeatedly postponed. He thought this old geezer isn't so kind-hearted. He hurriedly said he couldn't do it. Xing Jingshan, however, pressed closer. Spiritual energy emanated from his body. At this critical moment, the 2 ghost maids behind him floated over. Seeing this, Xing Jingshan, hastily and respectfully, she said, Miss Johnny and Miss Wooly have arrived. Is there anything the senior sister commands? Wooly softly said, the master is currently meditating. Please resolve matters quickly. Do not disturb the master's rest. She then feigned shock and asked, this Yanqing sword? Who drew and for whom? Now whose turn is it to draw? Xing Shani was busy responding, and now it's Pei Ling's turn. In an instant, Misty Willow floated to Pei Ling. She lightly lifted Pei Ling's chin with her finger. With a teasing smile, she said, it's you. Young master, you're so handsome. Hurry up and pull it out. If you disturb the master, sister might skin you. Pei Ling saw that there was no way to avoid it. He had no choice but to step forward and draw his sword. Xing Shanjing was smirking, thinking to himself, how could someone at the 4th level of Kai refining possibly draw it? Suddenly, as Pei Ling's strength increased, the Yansheng sword pinched between Xing Jingshan's fingers was actually pulled out a few inches. Xing Jingshan was immediately shocked. How could this be possible? The young man does not follow the martial ethics. Xing Jingshan, in the mid-stage of foundation building, had originally agreed to use only 20% of his strength with 2 fingers to hold the knife of hatred. Whoever pulls it out gets to keep it. But he resorted to trickery in front of Pei Ling, who was at the 4th level of Kai refining. Just as Pei Ling was about to pull it out, Xing Jingshan secretly added 50% of his strength. Facing Zhang Shan, who is 5/10 of his power, Pei Ling ultimately couldn't hold back. He's defeated. Xingxian's cultivation method is profound. I am far from being able to catch up. Xing Jingshan was about to show off a little, but was interrupted by the ghostly servant Jiao Ni, the master's Chuanbon's spiritual yin boat. We already have Pei Hanyan, a good-for-nothing. We can't afford another one. The lampshade in the master bedroom is old. Why don't we just flay your skin and make a new one? Pei Hanyan was merely embarrassed, while Pei Ling was speechless. He thought, I've already taken down your master. You two female ghosts want my life? Since it can't be held back anymore, then I have no choice but to go all in. At that moment, Wu Li suggested that young Master Pei, coming from a remote place, couldn't be compared to the disciples of the sect. It would be better for Xingshan to restrain himself a bit more and try using only half of his power. Pei Ling hurriedly thanked Miss Wu Li. Wu Li flashed before Pei Ling. You have to hurry, or I'll really make you into a lampshade. Pei Ling quickly agreed. Xing Jingshan, however, felt a doubt arising. Isn't this clearly letting me give the knife to Pei Ling? Could it be my senior sister's intention? The Xing Jingshan, who had made assumptions, was suddenly close to tears. I'll never act cool again. Although Pei Ling could tell Xing Jingshan's helplessness and reluctance, he was also afraid of really becoming a human lantern, so he had no choice but to give it his all. With Pei Ling's full force pull, the Yanqing knife was surprisingly pulled out easily. It was so easy that Pei Ling almost couldn't believe it. On the other hand, Xing Jingshan had already been crying uncontrollably inside, yet still had to force a calm demeanor. This hatred blade was the weapon I used when I was in the outer sect. Now it is in your hands. I hope you will train well with it. Do not disgrace its reputation. Pei Ling hurriedly expressed his thanks. Seeing that the matter was settled, Wu Li also praised Pei Ling. He was about to take Pei Ling to rest. As soon as they entered the internal passage of the airship, Pei Ling felt a bone-chilling cold. But it was still within the range he could bear. After walking for a while, doors began to appear on both sides of the passage. It seemed like something was sealed inside. From time to time, faint knocking sounds could be heard. The force was so great it felt like something would burst out at any moment. Through the crack in the door, Pei Ling saw a pair of blood-red eyes, staring at him with malevolent intent. What's more, countless blood-purple vines sprouted out, trying to drag Pei Ling into the door and pull him back. At the critical moment, Walia lightly shook the cane, scaring the vines away. Pei Ling hurriedly thanked her. Walia, however, appeared indifferent. As she spoke, she arrived at Pei Ling's room. Pei Ling, who had been tired after a long day, was about to rest. However, he noticed that Walia, floating by the door, had not left. Instead, she turned and asked, Can I ask you a question? Young Master Pei Ling would never dare to refuse. Suddenly, Wu Li dodged and knocked Pei Ling to the ground. Wu Li, now on top of Pei Ling, gently stroked Pei Ling's cheek. She sniffed lightly at his nose. Slowly she spoke, Why do you smell like my master? Pei Ling was instantly shocked. Could it be that she knows what I did to Lixianzi? If it be, I want to play poker with you for half a month straight. Can your bodies handle it? Wu Li pounced on Pei Ling. Stroking him, she asked, Why do you smell of the master? Pei Ling was startled. Could it be that my forcing myself on Lixianzi was discovered? Watching Wu Li playfully stroking Pei Ling. Why aren't you speaking, young Master Pai? The master's soul-snatching bell's demonic incantation, even Xing Jingshan found hard to resist. Yet you can act so nonchalantly and commit such an indecent act against the master. I'm truly curious what extraordinary qualities young Master P possesses. Pei Ling, hearing this, felt both shocked and embarrassed. This is more than just a guess. It's clearly a direct observation of my actions. The whole process of flipping the clouds and reigning with the fairy of history. Since I've been caught red-handed, I'll just confess honestly. As for why the heart demon curse doesn't work on me, it's probably because the system blocked it. But I can say that out loud. Helpless Pei Ling could only say, maybe it's because my constitution is special. When capturing Wu Tingxi, the other side once said that I am an exceptional person with iron bones. Wu Li looked puzzled. With a steady soul and a talent for body refinement, such a special physique is truly worth being taken back by the master for research. But your uniqueness lies in your soul. What I mean by research is extracting the soul for study. Pei Ling immediately broke into a cold sweat. I was wondering why they had to take me aboard. Turns out they treat me like a lab rat. A man can be killed but not tortured. Meanwhile, Wu Liu is still stoking the fire. Young Master Pei, you should be careful. The master's methods of torture are sure to make you crave more. With that, she struck Pei Ling with a blade, knocking him unconscious. In the instant Pei Ling fainted, it seemed like he saw the misty willow drifting away, and then Fairy Light entered with a strange expression on her face. Pei Ling thought to himself, could it be that my soul is really being extracted? After that, he didn't know what happened. He only felt like he had a very long dream. In the dream, Fairy Light immediately pushed him down and began to take liberties with him. And then they stripped him of his clothes. Afterward, they gave Pei Ling a full set of wand-style services. In this dream-like surreal time, the two of them completely let go. They were so happy. This dream lasted for half a month. Meanwhile, Xing Jingshan At this moment, they are holding Pei Hongnian accountable. If not for your incompetence, how could you have missed my life-disliking blade? Now my name. Take that kid into the outer sect. Pei Hongnian still wanted to argue indignantly, but was reprimanded by Zhang Jingshan. What secret does this kid hold? Senior sister Jingren values me so much. The scene shifts. Pei Ling finally wakes up. Upon waking up, Pei Ling hurriedly checks to see if any limbs are missing. After checking, everything is fine. Pei Ling breathes a sigh of relief. It seems I wasn't treated as a little mouse. My inner strength seems to have replenished quite a bit. But why does my lower back hurt so much? Just then, Pei Ling heard a knock on the door. After Pei Ling opened the door, Pei Hongnian was startled. Were you sleep paralyzed? It's almost been sucked dry. No wonder no one answered the door for the past half a month. Pei Ling was startled. He had actually slept for half a month. Then Pei Hongnian told him, you will be entering the Zongming sect soon. Hurry up and pack your things. Pei Ling was completely speechless. He had joined this dark sect. How can I still maintain my identity as a Taoist practitioner? No, I need to find a way to escape. At that moment, Pei Ling suddenly noticed that Lixianzi was sitting right in his room. Could it be that the passion of the past half-month wasn't a dream? Still shaken, was thinking about how he could escape this mysterious and dangerous boat. Turning his head, he found that Immortal Eye was sitting in his room. This damn figure really made it hard for him to resist. Suddenly Immortal Eye threw Cloud Seal manual at Pei Ling. Refine it within 10 days. Otherwise you will disappear like smoke, leaving nothing behind. Pei Ling stood there completely confused. What does this mean? Came over, humiliated me, and then left, and even gave me the martial arts technique. But the characters in this technique are a bit hard to read. It should be called the Blood Slaughter Blade technique. Just then, a system notification sounded. Foreign unfamiliar martial arts detected and being recorded. Pei Ling's heart rejoiced. For the first time, I find the system so pleasing to the eye. With automatic cultivation, I don't have to worry about not recognizing characters. Just then, a knock came again. It turned out to be the Sex Jandin stage arriving. Pei Ling, stepping out of the ship's door, glanced around and involuntarily gasped. The sky was an unimaginable vast sea of clouds. The wind howled and the clouds surged. Mountains of varying heights looked like reefs in the sea. Hidden among them, stars were scattered, countless and hard to count. Many rare and exotic beasts soared freely. Yet the dust-cutting platform was shorter than the surrounding peaks. It's flat, as if someone forcibly cut off a section, forming an extremely large plaza. It's unheard of. Unseen. It's too prosperous, making me seem even more impoverished. Zanshin, however, means to cut off worldly desires and forever sever ties with the mortal world. All new disciples enter through here. Having said that, Pei Hongnian insisted on taking Pei Ling to report to the outer sect. Pei Ling tried to struggle, saying he was just a member of a branch family and didn't qualify to enter the outer sect. But Pei Hongnian rebuked him, saying, you little rascal, you got incredibly lucky. You've entered the sacred sect and still aren't satisfied. This is Brother Zheng's decision. Are you planning to disobey? Helpless, Pei Ling had no choice but to follow and report to the Hall of Inheritance. Inside the Hall of Inheritance, an elderly man with a head full of white hair and chicken-like skin was lying on a reclining chair, drinking. Upon learning the purpose of the visit, the old man sighed. These youngsters, they keep finding things for me to do every day. I can't even drink in peace. The old woman put down the wine jar. She formed a hand seal and pointed at Pei Ling. Pei Ling instantly became paralyzed. Cold sweat poured down. The old woman said, I will silently recite your name and birth date. Pei Ling had no choice but to comply. After a sharp pain, a strand of soul power was drawn from Pei Ling's forehead. It flew into the soul lamp in the old man's hand. The old man murmured as the soul lamp slowly floated toward the ceiling. It merged with the many other soul lamps. The old man Jia spoke slowly. With this soul lamp lit, from now on you will be a member of the Changming sect. There are the sect rules at the door. Take this book and read it carefully. Hurry up and go, don't disturb my rest. Seeing Pei Ling not moving, the elder with a face full of anger entered the holy sect. From now on, you must be cautious with your words and actions. Strictly follow the sect rules. Do you understand? Seeing Elder Ji's unfriendly expression, Pei Ling hurriedly grabbed the sect rules and ran out. I'm not afraid of many rules. I'm only afraid of no rules at all. As long as this young master obeys the law, I'm not afraid of not being able to survive. Pei Hongnian, standing beside him, let out a soft chuckle. Pei Ling felt a sudden sense of foreboding. Pei Hongnian continued, you'll understand after you read it. Don't rush, let's go to the next place first. A heart free of women. Draw the sword and the gods appear. Pei Ling, who had just run out of the Bureau of Affairs Hall, felt a chill in his heart. As expected, it's a ghostly sect, not a single normal person. Even the guards at the door have the appearance of ghost soldiers. And Pei Angnian, having been in the sect for many years, I've long been used to it. He casually tossed Pei Ling a storage pouch and a token. Pei Ling looked at his token with a face full of disgust. It was actually a section of finger bone that had turned into a self bone. Pei Hanyan reminded him, "This token is the most important thing you have on you. The sex formation recognizes the token, not the person. If you accidentally trespass in the future, this token will be a lifesaver." With a wave of his hand, he summoned a small paper boat. He was going to take Pei Ling to find a place to stay. Pei Ling, however, looked speechless. "Are you messing with me? You can barely stay on this boat yourself without it swaying. Are you sure it works?" Luckily, the paper boat flew smoothly after all. Right when Pei Ling, while still imagining what lies beneath the sea of clouds, a green feather drifted down. Pei Ling was about to look up when a massive green bird charged toward him. Its claws knocked over Pei Hanyan's paper boat. Pei Ling was stunned. A demon beast attacking within the sacred sect? But Pei Hanyan seemed completely unfazed. This is not a monster. This is the phoenix bird of Beast Control Peak. Pei Ling saw that the phoenix bird had no intention of stopping. He pulled out the reluctance knife, ready to act, but Pei Hanyan stopped him. He was afraid of damaging their small boat. Just the two hesitated. The phoenix bird took their paper boat away. He directly crashed into a mountain peak. Fortunately, they were all cultivators, so they weren't killed. Pei Hanyan, hanging on the tree branch, was still worried about his paper boat. Unbeknownst to him, the people from Beast Taming Peak were already approaching. A few of them had gleeful expressions. It instantly enraged Pei Ling. Pei Ling was about to go up and argue, but he found Pei Hanyan had already stepped forward towards one of the beautiful women. Sun Yingling immediately started fawning over him, but received a resounding slap in return. Sun Yingling was seen angrily shouting, "You claim to love me, but you go out with Tong like Xianzi to handle matters without taking me? I can see you don't have me in your heart at all." Before Pei Hanyan could explain, Sun Yingling slapped again. But it was blocked by Pei Ling. Pei Ling thought to himself, so Pei Hanyan is just a simp. No wonder such great talent. But his strength hasn't improved at all. I still need him to help me arrange accommodation. I can't let this demoness continue. On the other hand, Sun Yingling, although they are both at the 4th level of Kuai refinement, he is held completely immobile by Pei Ling. Sun Yingling, helpless, can only vent her anger on Pei Hanyan, who is, "You just watch your clansmen bully me." No wonder they say Pei Hanyan is the ultimate simp. He immediately stands up and starts to reprimand Pei Ling. Pei Ling, who was caught in an awkward situation, had no choice but to step back. Pei Hanyan briefly described Pei Ling's residence in Fengnan and told Pei Ling his own address. Then he left Pei Ling standing aside. He began to flatter Sun Yingling again. And Sun Yingling said, "I don't like you, this cousin. Don't help him from now on." Pei Hanyan immediately expressed his determination. "I am completely I'll do whatever you say." This move completely left Pei Ling speechless. Such a great talent, yet not cultivating it properly. Instead, you choose to be a doormat, letting others step all over you. If money can solve a problem, then it's not really a problem. But if there's no money, then everything becomes a problem. Pei Ling and Wang Fengnan were abandoned by the sycophant Pei Hanyan. I had no choice but to come alone to the Zhuxi Hall to select a suitable place. The senior brother in charge introduced with a sly grin. "There aren't many places available for selection now. The places within spiritual energy. I'm afraid they might delay your cultivation, junior brother." Such an obvious hint. How could Pei Ling not understand? But unfortunately his pockets were emptier than his face. I could only awkwardly say, "Could you, senior brother, lend me some spirit stones? I promise I'll definitely return them to you later." The stewarding senior brother heard this, and his expression changed instantly. "Then you can stay here. Peak, go west for 10 miles. Inside the Xuangulingan boat, Xing Jingshan was reporting Pei Ling's situation to senior sister Lixan. Not understanding the situation, Xing Jingshan wanted to inquire further about what made Pei Ling so remarkable, that even Xianzi valued him so highly. Xianzi slightly furrowed her brow and said, "I heard you're planning to mine in the Yinlu mountain range." Xing Jingshan immediately realized the situation was wrong and hurriedly apologized. He quickly scrambled out of the room. Senior sister values this guy so much. Could it be that she's testing him? Fairy Lei saw that there was no one around. She immediately instructed Mist Willow to keep an eye on Pei Ling. After a long journey, he finally found his accommodation. What surprised him was, his residence is simply a mansion. A mansion? Damn, originally thought it was an undeveloped little cave. A mansion? In the end, I was thinking like a petty person, misjudging a gentleman's heart. Pei Ling walked into the mansion and took a look around. It was obvious that 3 senior brothers already lived here. And at the moment, the 3 senior brothers were all out handling errands. With nothing to do, Pei Ling, he immediately took out the door gauge and the dull knife and began to study them carefully. After all, these were the key to surviving. The Chongbin sect had been established for tens of thousands of years and was one of the top sects of this generation. The sect had many halls. Among them, the Pavilion of Laws sold cultivation techniques, and the 100 Treasures Hall sold magic tools. It is also responsible for acquiring genius treasures, serving the function of a pawn shop. The Council of Elders is responsible for monitoring and punishment. After getting a general understanding, Pei Ling hurriedly started checking the door rules, so he could avoid any issues in advance. He didn't realize until now. First, take action and punish with spirit stones. Crippling someone is punishable by a fine in spirit stones. Even murder and robbery can be resolved with spirit stones. In short, as long as you have enough spirit stones, you can do whatever you want in the Chongming sect. But how will Pei Ling, penniless, navigate this? Money makes the world go round. Among the numerous rules of the Chongming sect, as long as you have enough spirit stones, you can truly do whatever you want. All problems can be solved with spirit stones. To say the only real punishment is being unable to pay off the fine when it's due. Then your nightmare begins. Those with ordinary physiques will be made into fertilizer for the spirit planting peak. Those with strong physiques will be used as supplementary materials for the artifact refining peak. Essence, blood, and spirit. All the internal organs have been clearly arranged, ensuring that the holy sect won't suffer any losses. I damn well spent 18 years collecting spirit stones and used them all to activate the system. Now I'm completely broke. The sense of security Pei Ling had just felt when he received the sect rules instantly vanished. What replaced it was a deep sense of fear. Just as Pei Ling's heart was racing, a noise came from outside the door. Pei Ling quickly stood up to check. 3 people of varying heights entered together. One of them furrowed their brows and asked, "Who are you?" Pei Ling steadied himself. He cupped his hands and said, "My name is Pei Ling." He's a newly joined outer disciple. Although the 3 of them had never heard of this name, there is one thing. It's not the time for new disciples to join now. Could it be that he has some powerful background? He then introduced himself. "My name is Lai Sai and I am at the 4th layer of Kwai refining." He then pointed to the 2 companions beside him. They are called Zhou Wu and Miao Liu. Their cultivation levels are the 4th and 5th layers of Kai refining. Pei Ling noticed their attitude was relatively calm. He felt a bit relieved and said, "I was assigned here by senior brother Zhang Jingshan, the intersect's vain master. Previously the true inheritance immortal princess, senior brother Zhang, and my cousin Pei Hong went to Luquan City for a mission. We met by chance, and they brought me to the sacred sect. My entry into the saint sect was also arranged by senior brother Zhang, but Miao Liu blurted out Zhang Jingshan that good for nothing. He only secured his position as the intersect's pulse master by relying on his distant kinship with senior sister Lai. He only holds that position because of his distant kinship with senior sister Lai." Pei Ling was startled. Zhang Jingshan's status in the Chongming sect seems quite different from what I imagined. Lai slowly said, "Junior brother, please don't blame me. Miao Liu has an elder brother who's also in the inner sect. He's one of the inner sect's leaders, just like senior brother Zhang. They've always had some conflicts. My grandfather is one of the outer sect elders, La Ping, and Zhou Wu's older sister is one of the true disciples." Pei Ling felt speechless. So it's all about connections. Lai Si continued, "You were promoted by Zhang Jingshan. You must have a good relationship with Fairy Lai." Pei Ling's heart stirred slightly as he listened. It seemed like these 2 were testing his relationship with Fairy Li. However, without Fairy Li's permission, Pei Ling did not dare to act in her name. Ho Jing had already joined the outer sect, although it was Fairy Li's intention, but they had Zhang Jingshan step forward. It's probably because they don't want to be publicly linked with her. Pei Ling does he dare to provoke Lixianzi's anger at this time. He immediately explained that he came from humble origins, and how he was unqualified to be acquainted with Lixianzi. However, he was lucky enough to have been favored by Master Jing Yin. A few people still wanted to continue probing. Pei Ling had no choice but to repeatedly deny his connection with senior sister Lai. Just then, Lai Si suddenly pointed at the Yanqing knife and said, "Junior brother, this knife looks familiar." Pei Ling did not hide the truth. This was a gift from senior brother Zhang. Miao Liu glanced at the Yanqing knife. He said disdainfully, "Back then Zhang Jingshan was known for being invincible in the outer sect, but in reality it was all because of the sharpness of his blade. It is said that this sword is incredibly sharp." At that moment, Zhou Wu directly and straightforwardly said, "Junior brother Pei, name your price. I want the sword." Pei Ling had no choice but to use Zhang Jingshan as a shield. Unexpectedly, the 3 of them didn't take Zhang Jingshan seriously at all. Seeing Pei Ling so unwilling to cooperate, Zhou Wu directly punched him. Seeing he couldn't dodge, Pei Ling could only take the punch head-on. After the dust settled, Pei Ling was unharmed. A few of them were also startled. "Superior iron bow. No wonder Zhang Jingshan would take an interest in you." But even Zhang Jingshan, in the eyes of the true disciples, is nothing but a dog, let alone. I advise you obediently, hand over the Yanqing blade. Maybe I can leave you with a complete corpse. Pei Ling realized that today was not going to end well. He gripped the Yanqing knife, ready to strike. Let's see if you have the skill to back it up. How harmonious are the disciples of Chongming sect. They kill and take treasures at the slightest disagreement. After some investigation, the 3 senior brothers of Chongming sect learned that Pei Ling had no strong backing. He then had the thought of killing and seizing the treasure. The 3 of them cornered Pei Ling. Miley waved his long sword. Two sword keys struck straight at Pei Ling. Pei Ling hastily drew the hate-life blade to defend. Before Pei Ling could react, Zhou Wu's fist came crashing toward him. Pei Ling quickly dodged with a flash. He saw that several senior brothers had truly developed murderous intent. Pei Ling knew deep down that he had to fight for his life, but he didn't know how to use a sword. He could only close his eyes and swing wildly. Lai Sai, who was waiting for an opportunity, saw that Pei Ling was only hacking wildly without any skill. His heart leaped with joy. He quickly signaled Zhou Wu and Miao La, "Find a way to get the life-tired knife from Pei Ling." He wasn't idle either. He pinched hand seals, instantly summoning two ghostly imps to charge at Pei Ling. Pei Ling, a newcomer to the Jianyu, tried to block with his blade, but the two ghostly imps passed right through him. Pei Ling felt as if his head had been smashed by a huge hammer. Dizzy and lightheaded, his limbs were weak and numb. As Pei Ling regained his senses, he quickly swung his large knife to drive the ghost away. Before Pei Ling could react, Zhou Wu had already taken advantage of the situation and charged forward. He delivered an elbow strike directly to Pei Ling's chest. Pei Ling spat out a mouthful of blood. The knife in his hand was also knocked away. Furious, Pei Ling endured the pain and summoned all his strength. Zhu was sent flying on Friday. Lai Sai, who came to help, was also knocked away by the flying Zhou Wu. Seeing that his two accomplices had fallen, Miley said angrily, "Don't get too cocky. I'm at the 5th level of key cultivation." He then brandished his long sword, releasing two incredibly powerful sword energies. In an instant, Pei Ling was knocked away. Seeing that Pei Ling had already fallen to the ground, Miao Liu was overjoyed and was about to pick up the Yanxing knife. Unexpectedly, just as his hand was about to grab the Yanxing knife, Pei Ling stepped on his arm. Then with a flying knee, he sent Miao Liu flying. The three of them saw how difficult Pei Ling was to deal with. Enduring the pain, they charged towards Pei Ling. Pei Ling is no pushover either. With a great enemy before him, he could only swing his sword with full force to repel the three. Pei Ling temporarily stopped and was secretly shocked. Miao Liu truly deserves to be at the 5th level of key refining. Just two sword energies have injured me like this. Meanwhile, Miao Liu was thinking, this guy actually withstood two of my sword kai without dying. Could he have an exceptional physique? Miao Liu, powerless to fight further, roared, "Pei Ling, we won't let you off the hook for this." Pei Ling, however, held his large knife, looking as gloomy as if death itself had possessed him, and said, "Then I'll just have to kill all three of you." Hearing this, could we today? The three, already powerless to fight, were startled. Could it be that we are truly doomed to die today? Just as the three were preparing for a final struggle, Pei Ling unexpectedly left them with a goodbye then, and ran away like a streak of smoke. The three were instantly so angry that a mouthful of old blood spurted out. Pei Ling ran to a grove of trees. Seeing that the three hadn't pursued him, he thought to himself, "I almost forgot the rules of this hellish sect. Killing people comes with a fine. Killing one person starts with a fine of 10,000 spirit stones. 3 people means a fine of 30,000 spirit stones. Even if I sold myself, I couldn't afford that. But the immediate priority is to learn the swordsmanship given by Senior Li." He immediately summoned the system. He clicked the blood slaughter swordsmanship skill to begin cultivation, but the system popped up a message. It detected that the host was injured. Continuing cultivation would cause irreversible damage. It detected that the host was injured and that it would cause irreversible. A bad feeling welled up in his heart. Next, the system would control Pei Ling's self-destructive actions. Let's wait and see. How bad the system is, Pei Ling barely escaped. He was thinking about focusing on quickly training the blood slaughter sword technique, but the system notified him that the host was injured and shouldn't train. He needed to take a Yanjuan pill first to heal the injuries. Pei Ling was speechless. This damn it won't make me steal the elixir from the big boss again, will it? In the next moment, Pei Ling, controlled by the system, actually pulled out a bag of nourishing elixir from his pocket. Luckily, it was just a false alarm with Lixan. He still had some of the elixir he stole from Xian. He took a nourishing elixir. Pei Ling instantly felt refreshed, like being bathed in spring wind. His injuries began to heal at a visibly rapid pace. At this moment, the system issued another prompt for key refining stage cultivators, essence, and blood. The essence and blood of key refining stage cultivators. Pei Ling was immediately startled. Is this asking me to commit killing? No, the 3 cultivators? Could it be my 3 kind and friendly roommates? Shocked, Pei Ling wanted to cancel the hosting. However, once the system is activated, it won't stop. The scene changes. At this moment, Ji-Saner is holding a debriefing meeting. He actually let him escape. I have a sword symbol given to me by my elder brother. Pei Ling will undoubtedly die. Such a lowborn yet so powerful bastard must possess some kind of hidden treasure. Tomorrow, even if we have to dig 3 feet into the ground, we will find Pei Ling, so that Pei Ling can feel the love from his roommates. Just then, Pei Ling suddenly broke through the door. The 3 of them saw that Pei Ling dared to come back. They immediately stood up and were about to show their care for Pei Ling. But unexpectedly, Lai Se, who was closest to Pei Ling, was struck down by Pei Ling with a single sword. Pei Ling gripped the disdained blade and directly drove the blade into Lysa's body. He began cultivating using Lysa's essence blood. Zhou Wu and Mialu could not tolerate such humiliation. Zhou Wu leaped into the air, his fist smashing toward Pei Ling. At this critical moment, the system notified that an external attack was detected. The cultivation is over. With control over his body, Pei Ling quickly dodged with a flicker. Before Pei Ling could react, Zhou Wu had already charged in front of him. At this point, Pei Ling no longer cared about the punishment from the spirit stone. He stabbed out with a single strike. The poor Zhou Wu, full of muscle, couldn't even last 3 seconds. Pei Ling's attack chilled him to the bone. Miaoli, enraged, unleashed a sword kai, but Pei Ling blocked it with a single move of his blood fiend saber technique. Facing life or death, Miaolu held nothing back. He pulled out a sword talisman and began to perform the incantations. The aura emanating from the sword talisman caused even Pei Ling to be startled. I must not let him activate it. Immediately, Pei Ling threw the knife, aiming straight at Miaolu. Seeing this, Miaolu didn't dodge. A sneer appeared on his lips. "You're too slow." A huge wave of golden flames swept towards Pei Ling. Pei Ling was startled. Such a terrifying sword talisman. How could he possibly defend against this? What would it be like to have a one-click cultivation system? Such a convenient and effortless system? Yet it caused Pei Ling untold suffering. He stole when he lacked pills, forced himself on others when he lacked cultivation partners, and killed his roommates when he lacked vital essence, completely disregarding the trouble he would attract. Just now, Pei Ling was immediately controlled by the system and returned because he lacked essence blood for the blood slaughter blade technique. He killed his 2 roommates. The only one left, Miaolu, also revealed his strongest trump card, the sword talisman. A massive golden flame swept towards Pei Ling, and Pei Ling could see there was no way to avoid it. I can only use all my strength to receive this blow. There was a loud boom. Dust and smoke rose everywhere. The whole courtyard was devastated by this powerful blow. Ma secretly rejoiced. My brother's sword talisman is truly powerful. That bastard must be nothing but dust now. Suddenly a questioning voice came. Do you look down on me that much? Miley was instantly shocked. He turned to see Pei Ling behind him. He was immediately frightened and collapsed to the ground, pleading, "Don't kill me. My older brother is from the inner sect." Before Miley could finish speaking, Pei Ling struck him down with one blow. He called him a worthless scum. Do you really think you're so noble? Finally, it's all solved. Just then, the system actually wanted a 5-star rating. Pei Ling's anger instantly flared. You even dare ask for a 5-star rating? If it weren't for my good luck, I'd have been dead long ago. According to the rules, they could be fined 9-fold. This is outrageous. But these 3 have distinguished backgrounds. They must have quite a few valuable items. Maybe they can raise the fine in no time. What I never expected was, these 3 connected individuals actually only had some worthless trinkets. Their storage bags were locked, and they couldn't open them themselves. Pei Ling was speechless for a moment. Sigh, forget it. Their essence blood cannot be wasted. Let's continue cultivating. He casually opened the system and continued practicing the blood slaughter sword technique. At that moment, the system actually notified him that he lacked high refining stage earth spirit blood. The system will provide 2 cultivators for free. Pei Ling was about to wonder where these 2 cultivators came from. Suddenly, the rejection knife in his hand trembled. He heard 2 cries of pain. Pei Ling looked in the direction of the sound. It turned out that the rejection knife was absorbing the blood essence of Zhou Wu and Miao Liu. What surprised Pei Ling was that these 2 were actually playing dead. Fortunately, the system detected it in time. The essence and blood absorption of the high refining stage cultivator is complete. The system will continue your cultivation. Pei Ling, controlled by the system, began cultivating right at the crime scene. Holding the hate life knife, Pei Ling gradually entered the right state. The knife in his hand became lighter and lighter. As the knife technique gradually took shape, Pei Ling actually sliced through half Mountain's beauty with a single strike. Pei Ling was overjoyed. The blood demon blade technique is indeed powerful. Meanwhile, the ghostly maid Wu Liu, who had been watching from a distance, was also shocked. This kid mastered it so quickly. No wonder he can make the master so obsessed. As the system's prompt sounded, Pei Ling's blood slaughter swordsmanship was finally completed. This was the first time Pei Ling felt the system had a conscience. I'll reluctantly give it a 3-star rating. It's just that automatic cultivation is fun for a while, but the aftermath is a crematorium. He had killed 3 people after all, 30,000 for each. That's 90,000 spirit stones. Since I don't have the money to pay the fine, I should just run away. However, as I reached the end of a mountain peak, countless towering and overlapping peaks appeared ahead. Pei Ling fell into deep thought. How am I supposed to escape? Pei Ling, who had personally killed 3 of his roommates, I originally planned to escape, but the Chaming sect is full of towering mountains and thick forests. I couldn't find my way out, so I had to bury my 3 roommates and destroy the bodies to erase the evidence. Then I planned to go find my cousin, Pei Hanyan, to figure something out. However, as soon as I entered the courtyard, I saw an unbearable sight. The simping Pei Hanyan was actually getting excited while holding a portrait of Sun Yingling. Pei Ling was at a loss for words. What Pei Ling didn't expect even more was that Pei Hanyan, upon seeing him, trembled like a mouse in front of a cat. He was shaking in fear. When asked, Pei Ling found out that Sun Yingling had forbidden Pei Hanyan from contacting him. He was dealing with a love-struck, devoted fool. Pei Ling could only force a smile and say, "It's my fault. I shouldn't have angered my elder sister-in-law. Perhaps elder brother could tell me how to leave Changming's sect. I'll give my elder sister-in-law a gift upon my return." Hearing the words elder sister-in-law, Pei Hanyan's heart bloomed with joy. Leaving from Huayan Peak is 1,000 miles away. It's impossible to leave. You can spend 10 spirit stones to rent a trip to the Yanhu Cloud. 10 spirit stones? How about you lend me 10 spirit stones first, senior brother? Pei Hanyan said with a long face. I already gave all my spirit stones to junior sister Yingling. How could I have money to lend you? But Pei Hanyan still gave Pei Ling an idea. That is to go to the Miscellaneous Affairs Department to take a mission. After saying that, she still didn't forget to tell Pei Ling not to come looking for her again, so as not to let junior sister Yingling see. Pei Ling, who arrived at the Miscellaneous Affairs Division, scratched his head as he looked at the variety of tasks. What are these strange tasks? Deliver a letter to Beast Taming Peak. Requires amount. Reward 3 spirit stones. Take care of a Rudge Beast. Reward is the Rudge Beast's droppings. Searching for the spirit plant Ghostface Grass. Reward 5 spirits. When will I ever be able to save up enough for the 90,000 spirit stone fine? I finally found a task worth 800 spirit stones, but it requires key condensation stage 6 or higher. I won't reach that level anytime soon. Even if I did, I don't necessarily need to save up that many spirit stones. First find a team to blend into. Then you can just leave this hellish sect. However, the team wasn't as easy to join as he imagined. The first team only accepts cultivators at the 6th level of Kai refining or higher. The second team also rejected him due to his low cultivation. The third team even outright said that with his 4th level of Kai refining cultivation, he would just die. Just when Pei Ling had lost all hope, a beautiful young lady patted him on the back and said, "Although your cultivation is low, senior sister won't look down on you." Pei Ling felt a surge of joy. Someone was willing to team up with him. He turned around and thought, what the hell? She really is as beautiful as a flower? Pei Ling was so frightened that he turned and ran. The scene changed. Another one of Sun Yingling's loyal followers was reporting. Senior sister, I wasn't wrong, was I? Pei Ling is looking for a team at the miscellaneous office. With his cultivation at the 4th level of Kai refining, he dares to accept a mission. Sun Yingling responded, since he wants to take on a mission, then we'll give him a hand. You dare provoke me? How did everyone fare in the recent World Cup? Pei Ling, the male lead, had just entered the Changming sect and killed 3 of his roommates. This resulted in him accumulating a debt of 90,000 spirit stones. To escape his debt crisis, Pei Ling originally planned to join a random mission team and escape from the sect once he left. Alas, none of the many teams found him worthy. Finally, a senior sister was willing to take him in, but she was a terrifyingly aggressive woman with improper intentions towards him. Pei Ling ran away in fright. Having escaped the terrifying woman, Pei Ling was just about to catch his breath when he suddenly noticed a team not far from him. I'm looking for someone at the key condensation 4th layer. Pei Ling's heart leaped with joy. He dashed forward. Senior brother, hello. I'm Pei Ling, also at the key condensation 4th layer. Great, but we're leaving now. Do you need to prepare anything? Prepare what? Let's go. Pei Ling didn't want to stay in this hellish sect for a moment longer. Little did he know, all of this was part of his senior brother's plan. Just before the dinosaur girl greeted Pei Ling, Sun Yingling had already found senior brother Chen. Pei Ling's talent is comparable to Pei Hongyan's. He's the perfect candidate for his senior brother's blood sacrifice. Senior brother Chen still hesitated. Pei Ling isn't an intersect leader. Did Zhang Jingshan send him out the front gate? Wouldn't provoking him bring trouble? Sun Yingling said, however, in Zhang Jingshan's eyes, Pei Hongyan is nothing more than a dog, let alone Pei Ling. Besides senior brother Chen, your spirit summoning, but it's just missing the last blood sacrifice material. Such a great opportunity won't come again if missed. It was this temptation that brother Chen couldn't resist. That's why he deliberately lured Pei Ling out of the sect, so that Pei Ling could do it himself. The last blood sacrifice material for the soul summoning banner. Once outside the sect, can also avoid the risk of the hefty fines resulting from killing fellow disciples. At this moment, Pei Ling was completely unaware of it, still joyfully reflecting on the cloud of yin on Yinho Mountain. This Waiting Corpse cloud is much more comfortable than Pei Hongyan's broken paper boat. At that moment, brother Chen patted Pei Ling's shoulder. Let me introduce our teammates to you. My name is Chen. I am at the 6th level of Kai refining. This is my hopeless little sister, Chen Mei, at the 4th level of Kai refining. And these 3 are Huang Shan, Zhang Zhongke, and Xiao Tasha. They are all at the 5th level of Kai refining. We have known each other for many years. We are teammates who trust each other. He then explained. This mission is mainly to accompany my sister for training. Pei Ling clasped his hands and said, Brother Chen, don't worry. I will definitely protect Sister Chen. But inside he was plotting. I haven't got time to accompany your sister in her training. Once we leave the sect, I'll find a chance to slip away. Then the sky's the limit. The sea's wide open. No one will be able to control me. Senior Brother Chen, are we heading southeast? Could the sacred sect's gate be to the southeast? Senior Brother Chen explained. Junior Brother Pei, you're new to the Holy Sect and don't know this yet. The entire Holy Sect is beneath the great floating pagoda. You can exit in all directions. Pei Ling tentatively asked, then, this Holy Sect token of mine would be useless once I leave the sect? The answer he received was, the token is the only thing proving your identity once you leave the sect. It can also be used to send a distress signal to the sect with its location. Pei Ling was speechless. So it even has a location function. Once I leave, I'll just throw this broken plaque away. By the way, I was looking through the sect rules. I found that everything can be solved with spirit stones. If someone owes spirit stones, sneaks away throwing away their plaque, the Holy Sect Kai doesn't suffer losses for nothing. Sister Yao popularized the impossibility of it. Previously, a disciple owed 100 spirit stones. He lost his token while doing a task and sneaked away. As a result, the sacred sect sent out 3 cultivators who were each 1 realm higher. They were specifically assigned to hunt him down. It took them a full 20 years to track him down. They massacred his newly established family. Pei Ling was startled. No way. They chased someone for 20 years over a debt of just 100 spirit stones, 20. But I owe hoping 9,000 spirit stones. I'm done. There's no escaping this. How ruthless is this sect? They pursued someone for 20 years over a debt of only 100 spirit stones and wiped out their entire family. But the male lead Pei Ling owes a full 9,000 spirit stones. I originally planned to escape. Seems that won't work. I can only work diligently to pay off my debts. By the way, Senior Brother Chen, what is our mission this time? Senior Brother Chen explained that we've accepted 3 missions in total. 2 of them are for you and Lin Shu to practice with. They're to slay a Kaiwi 6th level demonic beast. You need to take good care of Lin Shu when the time comes. Pei Ling thought about the 3 tasks. It looks like I'll be able to earn a lot of spirit stones this time. When I asked, I found out that after calculating, I would only get 20 spirit stones. Pei Ling was instantly speechless. 20. I owe 90,000 spirit stones, but this can't be known by others. I could only force a surprised look and said, 20 spirit stones should last me a while. This also drew a look of disdain from Senior Brother Lin. Lin Shu explained, though 20 spirit stones isn't a small amount, if you have the talent for weapon forging, pill refining, and rune crafting, you could earn even more spirit stones. Your cousin Pei Hanyan is quite talented. I almost became Instructor Fu Feng's disciple back then. It's a pity that Sun Yinglan delayed it. Hearing that there were other ways to earn spirit stones, Pei Ling hurriedly inquired how Pei Hanyan had been noticed back then. It turned out that Pei Hanyan had merely used 2 years to achieve sainthood, a truly extraordinary feat. His talent was truly exceptional. Pei Ling was speechless. The talent assessment still needs 2 years, but the sect's deadline for paying the fine is only 3 months. My ashes will be cold in 2 years. At this moment, Zhang Zhonghan suggested that they first test whether Pei Ling has the ability to protect Lin Shu. Pei Ling didn't refuse. It just so happens that Pei Ling also wants to see the strength of this team. Pei Ling charged forward and threw an uppercut, but Zhang Zhonghan remained motionless. It turns out that he relied on his own cultivation of the 6th layer of Kwai to face the attack. He wanted to take the punch directly. This way, Pei Ling would realize the difference in strength. However, what he didn't expect was that this punch almost made him spit blood on the spot. Luckily, I managed to hold on. This saved my... Seeing Pei Ling's immense strength, Zhang Zhonghan dared not hold back. He immediately used all his strength and started exchanging blows with Pei Ling. After a series of exchanges, it was Pei Ling who eventually lost. Senior Brother Lin stepped into immediate, let's stop here. After some polite greetings, Huang Xian asked Pei Junior Brother, from your earlier posture I can see, you clearly wield a blade. Why are you hiding your blade and not using it? Pei Ling felt a little embarrassed. He couldn't exactly say he was afraid they would steal his blade, so he vaguely replied a matter of, I saw that Senior Brother Zhang didn't use a weapon, so naturally I couldn't either. With that, this matter was finally settled. The mortals quietly resumed their journey. Unbeknownst to them, Senior Brother Lin was secretly communicating with Zhang Zhonghan. How is it? That kid's bones are rather strange. He's far stronger than a typical key condensation stage 4 cultivator. I almost made a fool of myself just now. Congratulations, Senior Brother Chen. This is excellent material for a blood sacrifice. Once I master the soul summoning technique, I'll take on more difficult tasks. Maybe the 3 of us can make it into the inner sect in one go. Tasha, I'll have to trouble you to take action then. Tasha will do everything to the best of her ability. Pei Ling, who was left in the dark, suddenly realized why these guys were all so happy. Just as Pei Ling was confused, Lin Shu with a worried expression asked, you weren't injured, were you? Here are a few Kai blood pills, take them. Of course, Pei Ling wouldn't refuse something so valuable. Instantly everyone in the team was happy. Some people feign concern on the surface, but secretly harbor ulterior motives. After several days of traveling through treacherous terrain, the mortal finally arrived at Lucian City. Due to the city lord's busy schedule, the city lord's steward would be responsible for their reception. Upon entering the city lord's mansion, Pei Ling sensed that the spiritual energy here was unusually dense. Through conversation with his teammates, he learned that Lord Duamyu is a formation master at the foundation building stage. So in the lord's residence, he set up a simple spirit gathering formation. It nourishes the muscles and bones, aiding cultivation. Chen's nephew hadn't seen him for a long time. The person who came was none other than Duamyu Yen, the city lord of Lucian City. The few of them quickly bowed to greet the city lord. After some polite greetings, senior brother Chen took out a letter from the young city lord and handed it to the city lord. The city lord responded that the child was still within the sect and asked them to take care of him. He then inquired if they had any other tasks during their visit. If it's near Lucian City, perhaps I can be of some assistance. Brother Chen hurriedly responded that there are 2 more tasks for this trip. One is the flower demon outside the city. The other is the purple-eyed marten in the Lu Mountain. Unexpectedly, the city lord showed a troubled expression. Your nephew must have come prepared. These 2 demon beasts shouldn't be a problem. However, recently a foundation establishment-level human-faced spider has come out of the deep part of Lu Mountain to lay eggs. It just so happened that they chose a location near the territory of the purple-eyed marten. Hearing this, Pei Ling and senior brother Chen were both startled. Senior brother Chen was afraid it would delay his plan to use Pei Ling for a blood sacrifice. After Lin, he was afraid that the reward of 20 spirit stones would be lost. At this time, City Lord Duamyu also expressed, although I was left with a chronic illness 20 years ago and cannot exert myself fully, I secretly investigated the range of the face spider's activities. I then sent the activity tracking map to senior brother Chen. With the tracking map, senior brother Chen became much more confident. As long as we avoid the face spider, the blood sacrifice will not be a problem. This time I will undoubtedly succeed in the soul summoning. In the evening, Pei Ling, returning to his guest room, was tormented by the debt of 90,000 spirit stones and couldn't sleep at night. It would be impossible to gather that much just by doing tasks. Should I sell the reluctant life sword? But if I do that, Xing Jingshan won't let me off either. At that moment, the faint scent of incense drifted in. Pei Ling immediately sensed something was wrong. Could something have happened to senior brother Chen and the others? Realizing something was amiss, Pei Ling grabbed his poison knife. He pushed open the door. Inside, the air was thick with mist. Pei Ling hurriedly called out to his senior brothers. Wake up quickly. The Lord's mansion is strange. However, before Pei Ling could react, a mummified corpse charged toward him. Pei Ling hurriedly raised his knife to block. Why is the guest house of the Lord's mansion so eerie? Before he could think, the mummified corpse bit down on him. Could it be the Lord? But the Lord is at the foundation establishment stage. If you wanted to harm me, you could have done it directly. Could it be her? Pei Ling, having figured it out, shouted loudly, I have mastered the blood slaughter knife technique. I beg Miss Woolley to reveal herself. As soon as Pei Ling finished speaking, several pink butterflies arrived silently, instantly slaughtering all the guards around Pei Ling. A few pink misty light rings surrounded Pei Ling. By the time Pei Ling reacted, Woolley had already crouched on his back. What are you doing here? You made me chase you all the way here. From their previous half-month-long dual cultivation experience, Pei Ling had come to understand one thing. Some soft food is better left untasted. What do you all think? Just as Pei Ling was surrounded by the Ganhu, Miss Woolley gently released a few pink butterflies. To help Pei Ling, she took care of the nearby Ganhu. When Pei Ling was asked why he was running, Pei Ling could only awkwardly reply, I was just short on spirit stones. I was just out doing a task. Woolley looked thrilled. You mean the fine for killing Miao Liu and the others, right? Pei Ling was startled. Wow. So they were watching me. Miss Woolley is truly incredibly resourceful. She even knows this. Woolley's face was full of curiosity. Interesting. He actually used the blood of the 3 of them to cultivate the external demon. No wonder he cultivated the blood fiend swordsmanship so quickly. But even practicing killing techniques wouldn't make it that fast. However, Pei Ling was completely confused. What external technique? He hadn't even looked at the content. It was all the system's one-click cultivation. Woolley saw that Pei Ling wasn't speaking and directly grabbed him by the neck. What secret do you have? Then let me take a look. Just a quick look, okay? At the moment when Pei Ling was about to die, several chains suddenly shot out. In an instant, they locked on a Wulo. Such a powerful man would be a pity to die. Woolley hurriedly begged for mercy, Master. I was wrong. I won't touch him anymore. Upon hearing this, Fairy Light didn't argue with Wu Liu either. The chains vanished in an instant. Free Wu Liu put on a coquettish smile and tried to flatter Pei Ling. Young Master, hurry up and do something to anger the Master. Then I'll be able to deal with you as I wish. Pei Ling was speechless. I'm not a carbon hammer. By the way, young Master Pei, Although external demons can improve your swordsmanship, without internal demons to suppress them, do you know what the consequences will be? 90,000 Spirit Stone. It means that from now on, you'll have to rely on killing to practice your skills. In the end, you'll become bloodthirsty and fall into demonic madness. I just want to make money. Young Master Pei doesn't need to worry. Wooly will help you, young master. Pei Ling grabbed Wooly's hand. Really? Miss Wooly? Quickly teach me how to make 90,000 Spirit Stones fast. Wooly looked helpless. Don't you want to know? How can I use inner Kai to suppress outer Kai? Miss Wooly, I'm only interested in Spirit Stones. I have a system to help me cultivate. What am I afraid of? The key is the 90,000 Spirit Stone. Fine. Wooly pretends to be profound. With young Master Pei's amazing physique, just ask the master directly. Wouldn't that be it? Pei Ling's heart trembled. I should just figure it out myself. It's better not to eat this damn soft rice. Does she really think I'm Pei Ling's pickled vegetables? Half a month of dual cultivation. I almost got drained dry. Thinking about it now, it's still terrifying. Wooly looked helpless. Then you should figure it out yourself. She then tossed a blood demon escape technique to Pei Ling. This is what the master gave you. You have 7 days to master it or die. Pei Ling sighed deeply. Finally, it's gone. A mere ghost servant. Could infiltrate the city lord of the foundation building stage, without him noticing. Just how terrifying is that fairy lie? It seems like I have no choice but to practice the technique. 7 days is even shorter than the last deadline. I just don't know what trouble the system will cause during this training. I'll have to wait and see. Early this morning, Senior Sister Chen came over to inform Pei Ling. They need to prepare some things before leaving the city, so today we'll adjust and rest. I wonder what your plans are. Pei Ling felt a surge of joy in his heart. I'll sneak and head to the market to see if there's any way to make spirit stones. Then feigning exhaustion, he said, after traveling for days, I'm a bit tired. I plan to rest at home for a day. Senior Sister Chen, upon hearing Pei Ling's plan to rest at home, happily went to find her elder brother. Pei Ling looked puzzled, wondering why she heard that he planned to rest. She was so happy, and Chen Huan and the others were nowhere to be seen. Something felt wrong. Never mind. I should go to the market to find some work and earn spirit stones first. This yummy. I can see from your unique bone structure that you have the potential to cultivate immortality. I have a family heirloom technique here. Would you like to take a look? Originally, Pei Ling had planned to rest at home with his teammates, but he secretly snuck out. He was planning to find some side jobs at the market to earn some spirit stones. However, after wandering around the market for a day, Pei Ling not only failed to find a profitable opportunity, but also encountered various scams and sales pitches. Feeling irritated, Pei Ling directly pulled out the token of the Chongzong sect to see if there were any members of the Chongzong sect around. The scammers were so scared they ran off immediately. Just then, Pei Ling's eyes lit up. Aren't these the missing Zhang Zhongqin and the others? Little did he know, the ones who had disappeared were actually secretly setting up a formation for Pei Ling, under Xiaosh's lead. They finally found a place suitable for setting up the formation. Yes, this place is full of yin energy. It is perfect for laying down the soul-eating mother and child formation. It's good if we can set up the sub-array. However, the materials we brought are not enough to set up the main array. The soul-devouring sub-array and main array complement each other. The sub-array is responsible for stripping the soul, while the main array is used to refine the soul-summoning scroll. Both are indispensable. Huang Xian complained. If we had found a suitable place to set up the formation earlier, those materials wouldn't have been wasted. Just then, Chen Shu walked out. This is everyone's first time here. How did Senior Sister Xiao know where is suitable for setting up the formation? Let's go to the market to buy some materials first. It's not too late to set up the formation tomorrow. Huang Xian looked puzzled. Why a year too? Is it fine leaving that kid alone in the city? Chen Shu looked smug. Don't worry. I've placed 1,000 miles fragrance on Pei Ling. He definitely can't escape the tracking of my seeking bee. With that, the others continued setting up the formation. Chen Shu and Zhang Zhongqin went to the shop to buy materials for the formation. Hearing Chen Shu and Zhang Zhongqin talking about setting up a formation, Pei Ling also looked puzzled. Does a demon beast at the 6th level of Kai refining still need a formation? At this crucial moment, a swindler suddenly appeared. Young master, you have a good eye. This is a piece of precious cloth that can block spiritual energy leakage. If you want it, I'll sell it to you for a cheap price. Pei Ling was speechless. And it just so happened that he appeared while I was eavesdropping. Startled, Pei Ling grabbed the cloth and ran. On the way, he threw a bottle of elixir to the swindler as payment. This ridiculous move also successfully caught Zhang Zhongqin's attention. I think I saw Pei Ling. Quick, release your tracking bee. Lin Shu didn't hesitate. She immediately released the spirit bee to track him. It was indeed Pei Ling. Hurry and chase. Pei Ling, who had run into a dark alley, was still thinking. He'd said he was staying home to rest. If he's caught now, it would be awkward. Just as he was about to continue running, A voice of questioning came. It's really you, Pei Ling. Didn't you say you were going to rest at home? Why did you come out? How dare you side with my mother? Pei Ling quickly explained that it was all a misunderstanding. Zhang Zhongken grabbed Pei Ling's shoulder. A misunderstanding? Then junior brother, do tell me. What were you doing, sneaking around in the shop just now? And why did you run when you saw me? Could it be that he overheard something he shouldn't have? Pei Ling, who was supposed to be resting at home, secretly slipped out to the market to look for odd jobs to earn some small change. However, things didn't go as planned. He didn't earn any money, and instead was caught red-handed by his senior brothers and sisters. Pei Ling could only awkwardly explain that he couldn't sleep. So he came out for a walk? I thought you might also be resting, so I came out alone. Zhang Zhongken immediately communicated with Chen Shu. This kid is up to something. He must have overheard something. We can't keep him alive. But Lin Shu said no. The soul-devouring mother seal will be activated tomorrow. We can't ruin our grand plan. Take him back and keep him under strict surveillance first. Saying this, he immediately grabbed Pei Ling's arm. You're too reckless. You don't know this place at all. What if something happens? Zhang Zhongken echoed. We're a team. Wherever we go, we should tell each other beforehand. It's good to look out for each other. Pei Ling had no choice but to hurriedly apologize. Lin Shu blushed and said, if you keep this up, I won't pay attention to you anymore. After saying that, the two of them each took one of Pei Ling's arms and led him back. Pei Ling looked confused. Aren't you still going to buy the formation materials? Zhang Zhongken, however, wore a mischievous smile and said, it's more important to send you back first. The materials will be bought by senior brother Chen and the others. The mission is tomorrow. You need to get some good rest. Back at the city lord's manor, Pei Lingju increasingly felt something was wrong. Buying the formation materials was the urgent matter. Yet they were in a hurry to send me back. And on the way back, they were much more enthusiastic than before, as if afraid I would run away. Could it be that their target is me? At that moment, Chen Shixing and the others, who had been setting up outside, returned. Pei Ling was about to eavesdrop, but was caught by Chen Shixing. Pei Shidi, you should rest early. Seeing Pei Ling retreat, Chen Shixing immediately asked what had happened. Pei Ling seemed to be a little cautious. Zhang Zhongken returned. That kid secretly left the city lord's mansion during the day. He might have noticed something. No matter, we'll take turns watching him tonight. Just don't let him escape. I've already asked junior sister Xia to set up a maze formation outside the formation. There won't be any problems by tomorrow. I know junior sister Xiao's maze formation. At the time, I didn't leave for 3 days. Once I was in the formation, no matter how skilled he was, he wouldn't be able to escape. The next morning, Pei Ling arrived at Lushan Forest, guided by a few people. The further Pei Ling walked, the more uneasy he became. Someone had been watching me all night. They didn't give me any chance to escape. It seems their target really is me. But why is it me? That's senior brother Chen. Are we looking for a flower demon? Senior brother Chen, however, looked impatient and said, just follow me. Senior sister Chen also asked with concern, junior brother Pei, aren't you in a hurry? We'll be there soon. Pei Ling secretly calculated. If a fight breaks out, he definitely wouldn't have a chance to survive. He could only look for a chance to escape. Suddenly an angry roar came from the distance. Immediately after, countless demon beasts began to attack from all directions. The group immediately switched to combat mode. Pei Ling's heart stirred. The opportunity had come. Go ahead and fight. I'm out of here. However, he underestimated the strength of his teammates. Before Pei Ling could run far, the demon beasts were all slain. Master Chen was holding a knife in one hand, and the corpse of a demon beast in the other. He slowly said, junior brother Pei, you're going the wrong way. The world is treacherous. Human hearts are unpredictable. Upon entering the sect, he encountered 3 roommates who tried to murder him. Luckily, Pei Ling was tenacious. He killed the 3 roommates in self-defense. He intended to join a group and escape. Instead, he fell into senior brother Chen's trap. To refine the soul-summoning banner using Pei Ling's body, senior brother Chen went to a great deal of trouble. Pei Ling, noticing something was amiss, had intended to escape during the beast attack. However, before Pei Ling could get far, he was stopped by senior brother Chen. Faced with senior brother Chen's questioning, Pei Ling could only offer an awkward explanation. I was a bit flustered after encountering the monster. I wasn't paying attention and ran in the wrong direction. I couldn't help but complain in my mind that these monsters are too weak. Chen Shu saw that Pei Ling was being unruly. She directly grabbed his arm, saying, this won't do. What if we run into monster again? What if you get separated from us? From now on, I'll have to hold on to you tightly. There's nothing I can do. Pei Ling could only continue following his senior brothers. The nearby demonic beasts were too weak. There wasn't even a chance to escape. What if I asked Wu Liu for help? Forget it. That female ghost would be delighted if I died sooner. Just then, senior brother Chen and the others suddenly stopped. Whispering, ahead is the sub-array of the soul-devouring formation. You all tricked Pei Ling into going inside. The junior sister Sao and I will go set up the main formation. Having said that, they began to act. Pei Ling felt a joy in his heart. The highest-ranked senior brother Chen was not there. Perhaps this is an opportunity for me. Senior sister Chen, senior brother Chen, where are they going? Chen Shu explained that they went to deal with the purple-eyed marten. If we go further, we'll reach the flower demon's habitat. They walked a little further. Pei Ling saw his chance. They should be far away by now. Chen Shu wanted to continue deceiving him, but Pei Ling suddenly attacked. He grabbed Chen Shu by the throat and threw her to the ground. Stop acting in front of me. This sudden turn of events shocked both Zhang Zhongqin and Huang Xianda. What do you little bastard think you're doing? Pei Ling directly took out his disgust blade. What do I think I'm doing? You both know full well. With that, he swung the blade at the two of them. The two had no choice but to hurriedly defend themselves. This is the disdainful blade. You're from Zhang Jingxin's faction. You little bastard dare to play tricks on us. Hearing these words, Pei Ling instantly exploded in anger. I respected you as elder brothers, but you were plotting how to harm me. Then don't blame me for being rude. Huang Xian and Zhang Zhong can secretly communicate. They will lure him into the sub-array. A great battle is about to break out. In an instant, blades and swords flash. Rocks fly everywhere. When the smoke clears, Pei Ling finds himself facing an empty space. Suddenly, Huang Xian emerges from behind, performing a spell. Pei Ling hurriedly turned around and swung his blade. However, although Huang Xian was forced back, Fu Bing had already reached in front of him. In an instant, several golden chains appeared around Pei Ling. Before Pei Ling could react, he was bound by the chains. Just as Pei Ling could no longer move, Zhang Zhongqin seized the opportunity and charged from behind. With one double dragon emerging from the sea move, Pei Ling was sent flying. Pei Ling, who was sent flying, after several death-defying rolls, finally landed safely. He couldn't help but sigh. Dealing with 2 key refinement level 5 cultivators is indeed a bit strenuous. Wait, where are they? Never mind, it's best to run away. However, after walking for a long time, Pei Ling suddenly realized that he had walked back to the starting point. He never expected that his teammate wanted to use him to craft the soul summoning banner. He had been trapped in a maze that had been set up for him in advance. Pei Ling felt more and more that this place was not suitable for staying long. The final result always brought him back to the starting point. The system will offer you a free gift. He has expected it's this again. If you want blood food, you'll have to take me out to find it. This time I'll give you a 4-star review. Where's that kid Pei Ling? We were tricked by that kid. But that kid is Zhang Jingxin's disdainful blade. Senior brother Chen, however, remained calm. Dead people can't talk. He's already trapped in the maze. Today I must master the soul summoning technique, but Pei Ling, controlled by the system, ran all the way to the spider cave. Then he began absorbing the blood essence of the spider eggs. Continuing to cultivate the blood ghost technique. The blood ghost escape technique is finally complete. Pei Ling finally regained control of his body. Giant spider appeared silently behind Pei Ling. How miserable is this male lead, either fleeing or on the run. Just escaped from the maze. Now being hunted by a spider demon. Don't be fooled by the spider demon's large size. It can run almost as fast as a high-speed train. Fortunately, Pei Ling has just learned the blood demon escape technique. That's why he's barely managing to stay ahead. Speaking of the blood demon escape technique, I really have to thank my dear Lixianzi. I truly love Lixianzi so much. We've been running for so long already, and this spider demon is still chasing. This can't go on like this. It's only proper to return the favor. How about I let you two meet then? Scene transition. Senior brother Chen and senior sister Sao are here, busily setting up the soul-devouring mother-child formation. In the center of the formation, senior brother Chen's soul-summoning banner is planted. Countless wrong souls wail across the land. Many of these wrong souls were the loved ones of these fellows. Yet senior brother Chen and the others show no remorse. With a loud shout from senior sister Sao, the soul-devouring mother array was officially activated. Thunder rumbled as time passed, and ghostly energy swirled. Just as brother Chen imagined his soul summoning was about to succeed, the formation suddenly interrupted. It turned out that it was due to Pei Ling's escape. The formation lacked a sacrificial offering. That's why the formation couldn't continue operating. The group, already suspicious of each other, immediately descended into chaos. Senior brother Chen hurriedly interrupted their argument. He instructed Chen Shu Huangshan and Zhang Zhongqin to capture Pei Ling. However, they had only chased a short distance. When Chen Shu's tracking bees refused to pursue further, just as Chen Shu was puzzled, she saw Pei Ling running toward them from a distance. The group was filled with joy. It really was a case of searching far and wide with no success. Yet you came right to us. However, what they never expected was that Pei Ling, who possessed the blood demon escape technique, directly escaped through the gap between the three of them. I brought you some gifts. I hope you like them. The spider demon chased after them. The three were immediately shocked. They quickly used their skills to escape. However, Chen Shu, who had the lowest cultivation, still stepped too slow. She was directly ensnared by the spider demon's web. Zhang Zhongqin and Huangshan, who were stunned by fear, couldn't think of rescuing anyone anymore. They could only watch helplessly as Chen Shu was eaten. The two who narrowly escaped found senior brother Chen. They told him about the danger they had just faced. Although senior brother Chen was displeased, he didn't show it too obviously. You must know that the spider demon would soon be after them. Senior Chen and senior sister Xiao could escape, but Huangshan and Zhang Zhihan had already used the blood-burning technique earlier. They definitely won't be able to escape. After thinking for a moment, senior Chen came up with a brilliant plan. That is to let Zhang Zhongqin and Huangshan enter the maze to hide. Wait until the spider spirits are lured into the maze, then release the two of them. Zhang Zhongqin and Huangshan were uneasy, but this was the only way to escape. They could only follow instructions. However, before Zhang Zhongqin and Huangshan had gone far, senior brother Chen instructed senior sister Xiao, once they're inside, activate the soul-devouring mother-child formation. Turn them all into soul-calling spells. The ending of a simp is usually tragic. One moment they were just professing their deep affection, and the next they were being refined into materials for the soul-calling banner. Brother Chen saw the spider demon was about to catch up. He immediately suggested that Zhang Zhongqing and Huangshan enter the formation to hide. However, as soon as they entered the formation, Brother Chen had already turned it into the soul-summoning banner. What wasn't perfect, however, was that Zhang Zhongqin and Huangxian had already been severely weakened. As a result, the soul-summoning banner they created wasn't flawless. Taking advantage of Xiao Tasha turning around, Brother Chen used his hand like a blade. With a single strike, he pierced Xiao Tasha's chest. At this moment, Xiao Tasha couldn't understand at all. He killed so many people for him, did so many things, and just now he said they would be together forever. But with just one turn, he's about to be turned into a soul-summoning tool. Meanwhile, Brother Chen looks excited. My soul-summoning banner is finally a success. Junior sister, once you enter the soul-calling banner, you can be with me day and night. I imagine you must be delighted. In this way I haven't failed my junior martial sister. I will now fulfill my promise and take you away. Scene change. Pei Ling finally escaped to Lucian City. Pei Ling's spiritual energy is now depleted. He must find someone to help him, and that person is the city lord of Lucian City. Clearly he gambled right this time. After receiving the report from his servant, the city lord of Lucian immediately began to transfer spiritual energy to Pei Ling. After a period of recuperation, Pei Ling knelt down on both knees. City lord, bad news. That Foundation establishment stage spider spirit is attacking. Senior brother Chen asks senior sister Xiao to set up a formation. He wants to refine the spider demon into a soul-summoning charm. The lord of Lucian City was startled. That's a demonic beast at the Foundation establishment stage. Even I wouldn't dare to provoke it. Senior nephew Chen is out of his mind. Pei Ling quickly added, I don't know what they're rethinking either. In short, the plan failed. Everyone scattered and fled. I only escaped by luck. The lord of Lucian City is cautious. After repeatedly confirming that the spider spirit was indeed heading towards Lucian City, he decided to go the rescue. After all, Lucian City has a formation set up by the sacred sect. Even if he couldn't win, he could still retreat safely. This shocked Pei Ling, causing him to break into a cold sweat. If he really lets him rescue the person, wouldn't that be the end for him? Pei Ling still wanted to stop him, but the lord of Lucian City was determined to go save someone. There was no way. Pei Ling could only quickly think of a way to save his life. Whether the lord was going to rescue someone or seize treasure, he couldn't leave the lord's residence now. The scene shifts. Senior brother Chen, who had been fleeing from the wolf and fox, was still thinking that he must make Pei Ling wish he were dead when he returned. At his Lucian City. If he could use the city's defensive array to kill the spider demon, perhaps he could make a small fortune. After all, materials from a Foundation building stage demon beast are not cheap. At that moment, the lord of Lucian arrived as well. Senior brother Chen hurriedly asked the lord for help, hoping the lord would help kill the spider spirit. Unexpectedly, the lord rewarded him with a black tiger claws the heart strike. He also seized his soul-summoning banner in the process. In just a moment, The Lord severed the connection between Senior Brother Chen and the soul-summoning banner, completely cut off. Senior Brother Chen still wanted to threaten the city lord with sect rules. Unexpectedly, before he could finish, the spider spirit chased after him. Those who do evil will eventually meet their doom. In order to refine the soul-summoning technique, Senior Brother Chen went to great lengths. He deceived countless fellow disciples. Even his closest brothers, and the woman who deeply loved him were not spared. They were all refined and turned into soul-summoning tools. However, just as the magical artifact was completed, he was relentlessly pursued by a foundation-building spider demon. He was almost able to escape back to Lucian City, but he was intercepted and robbed by the Lord of Lucian City. Senior Brother Chen endured countless hardships to refine the soul-summoning banner. It hasn't even warmed up yet. Then Lucian City Lord Duamian snatched it away. Misfortune never comes singly. Because of Duamian's delay, the spider spirit also caught up. Brother Chen saw his life was in danger, and hurriedly kowtowed to Duamian, begging for mercy. This soul-calling banner is my humble gift to you. Please, City Lord, spare my life. I am willing to serve like a beast of burden. I will serve the Duomo family for all eternity. However, Duamian ignored Senior Brother Chen's plea. He formed a hand seal. He directly sent Senior Brother Chen as a gift to the Spider Demoness. He said to the Spider Demoness, our strengths are equal. Fighting will only lead to mutual destruction. What's more, there's the Yuming Foya formation ahead. Please stop here. This small amount of spiritual soil may not compensate for your losses, but it's my sincere intention. That foundation establishment stage spider spirit is shrewd. After taking Chen Shixing, she turned around and left, returning to Lucian City's Duamiju. With a sorrowful expression, he said to Pei Ling, Pexil, I truly apologize. The spider demon is indeed fierce and ruthless. In the end, I was a step too late. Chen Shiji has already been killed by him. I fought desperately. Only then was I able to snatch back Chen Shiji's belongings from his mouth. Pei Ling was shocked. Good grief, they really went to kill and steal the treasure. Pei Ling immediately knelt on both knees. He cried bitterly. Senior Brother Chen was such a good person. Just like that, he's gone. I don't know how the other senior brothers and sisters are doing. Duemian saw. He hurriedly pretended to comfort him. Then he said, I'm afraid your senior brothers and sisters have also met with misfortune. Besides some severed limbs, we only found some personal belongings. Keep these. They're a keepsake of sorts. Pei Ling looked at the belongings on the table with disdain. A keepsake indeed. There isn't a single valuable thing among them. Just then, Duamian actually took out Senior Brother Chen's soul-calling banner. This is a rare and superior talismanic artifact. You should take it as well. Pei Ling was startled. Isn't a superior talismanic artifact? These were all refined using the lives of fellow disciples. Your young master almost fell victim to it too. If I take this, will you let me go? Pei Ling hastily replied. Our group has caused Lucian City quite a bit of trouble. I'll take the other relics, but you should keep this soul-calling banner, City Lord. Brother Chen, if you were still alive, you would surely approve of this. Duamian's heart leaped with joy. This kid really knows how to handle social situation. However, there's something I don't understand. Although Chen Shizi with his 6th level Kai cultivation still died at the hands of the spider demon, how did Peg Xiaoyu manage to escape with his life? Could it be that he has some extraordinary abilities? Faced with Duamian's imposing threat, Pei Ling's heart skipped a beat. It seems I can only bring up the immortal lady now. My trip here was at the behest of immortal sister Li. If I fail the mission, I'm not allowed to return to the sect. My escape was entirely thanks to Miss Wu Li's secret assistance. It's just that immortal sister Li doesn't want anyone using her name and influence. Hearing that I'm immortal sister Li's person, Duamian quickly greeted me with a smile. Don't worry, young friend Pei. If you don't say it, and I don't say it, senior sister Li will naturally never know. For your task, let this old man take care of it. It's easier to get things done when you have connections. After learning that Pei Ling was senior sister Li's person, in the blink of an eye, Duamian helped Pei Ling. They brought back the bodies of the purple-eyed eagle and the peach blossom demon. They brought back the bodies. When Duamiu asked Pei Ling to present his sect token to claim the reward, Pei Ling was completely dumbfounded. It turned out Senior Brother Chen and the others had never actually assigned him the mission. They only wanted to bring him out to refine him into a soul-summoning banner. Fortunately, he could still go back to the General Affairs Hall to complete the paperwork. The biggest problem right now is that Ivy killed 3 of my fellow disciples, and I still haven't raised enough money for the fine. If I go now, I'll definitely be met with a warm greeting from the families and friends of those 3 guys. However, just as Pei Jinggang expressed his desire to stay a few more days, Duanmian gave him a warning. It's not that I don't want to keep Pei Xiaoyu here longer, but only Pei Xiaoyu survived this journey. It would be easy for you to be accused of harming your teammates. Besides, Pei Xiaoyu wouldn't want to carry the name of the Saintess while committing a crime. You should return early and report it. I will testify when the Elder Hall investigates this matter. I'll help you clear your name. If you think Duamudan did this for Pei Ling's sake, You're terribly mistaken. As long as Pei Ling returns safely, everyone will assume Pei Ling used some kind of trick to murder their fellow disciple. Duan Mian will also be cleared of suspicion. After all, the soul summoning banner was a gift from Pei Ling. It wasn't that he snatched it himself. From another perspective, if Pei Ling really is like Xianzi's person, helping him would be doing a favor. With this operation, Duan Mian is still in profit. Pei Ling let out a long sigh. If that's the case, it seems he could only find a chance to slip away after leaving Lushanshan City. However, what Pei Ling never expected was, this old geezer was unscrupulous. He was directly given self-navigating Yin Hui. He was given absolutely no chance to escape. Scene change inside the elder's residence at Huayan Peak. Lice's grandmother Hen Su. I am reporting to elderly Ping of Huayan Peak. Lord Lice is your own grandson. You must avenge him. Li Ping's gaze was sharp. He had arranged for Pei Ling to be placed among the disciples in Lice's courtyard, but he was informed by Han Su that Pei Ling had been killed. Li Ping was instantly enraged. Such an important witness, and you had him killed. Think about it. How could Pei Ling have the ability to kill all three of them at once? The key to this matter is not Pei Ling. It lies with the mastermind behind it. Additionally, Lice and the others died from a strange sword technique. Within the sacred sect, the only one who possesses such a peculiar sword technique is Xing Jing. Xing Jing Shancher and Miao Chenjiang, who is also the head of the inner sect, are not on good terms. Pei Ling was most likely acting on Jing Jingshan's orders to kill Miao. Lice was just unfortunately implicated. Now that Pei Ling has been taken out of the sect by Chen Huan, he's probably already become a resentful ghost in the soul-calling banner. As for Jing Jingshan, it turns out he's a distant relative of Hua Jing, the true successor. Without proof, I cannot act rashly there. In that case, inform the Miao and Zhou families. Ask Zhou Zhenchuan to restrain Li Zhenchuan. This will allow Miao Chenjian to deal with Zheng Jingshan. Without Li Zhenchuan's protection, Xing Jingshan will be no match for Miao Chenjiang. The person is sitting at home, but the pot falls from the sky. Xing Xian, who was teaching his female disciple, was suddenly confronted and beaten by Miao Chenjiang. The disciples inside the door wanted to step forward to help, but were driven back by Zheng Jingshan. As the main leader of the prestigious Jiansang family, how could I let my disciples help? Where would my face go? Faced with the enraged Miao Chenjiang, Xing Jingshan could only avoid his wrath. After being asked, he realized that he had actually killed Miao Liu. Xing Jingshan was also completely confused. How did I not know about this? He was about to explain, but Miao Chenjiang had already launched an attack. Xing Jingshan could only defend while explaining. However, all the clues pointed to Xing Xian. Miao Chenjiang naturally wouldn't believe Xing Jingshan's explanation. You still won't admit it. Didn't you boast a few days ago that you would take revenge on me? At the sound of these words, Xing Jingshan's face fell. Which son of a bitch spread my boastful words around? I did say those words, but I absolutely didn't kill your younger brother. Blinded by rage, Miao Chenjiang was bent on revenge and wouldn't listen to his explanation. He unleashed a furious attack on Xing Jingshan. When Xing Jingshan opened his eyes again, Miao Chenjiang was already gone. I was actually knocked unconscious, a completely lost face. The impotent rage of Xing Jingshan. He immediately shouted that he would report to the Elders' Hall, but his disciple told him, before leaving, Miao Chenjiang said he would go to the Elders' Hall to pay the fine on his own. Moreover, this time it was only because of Lixianzi's favor that you were spared your life. Upon hearing this, Xing Jingshan was instantly filled with rage. Who the hell is framing me? However, the one who started all this, Pei Ling, still thinking about how to get Xing Jingshan's help to deal with the fine of 90,000 spirit stones. After returning to the sect, Pei Ling first went to the affairs hall to make up for the missed task. After a series of action, Pei Ling successfully received 167 low-grade spirit stones. These spirit stones can buy a lot of things at the Babao Tower, if it weren't for those three. However, as soon as Pei Ling left the steward's hall, he was taken away by people from the disciplinary hall. This disciplinary hall is powerful indeed. He actually recounted the entire process of Pei Ling committing the crime in detail. The evidence is irrefutable. Pei Ling couldn't argue. He could only obediently sign and seal. Fortunately, the Hall of Administration was relatively just. They only fined Pei Ling 74,800 spirit stones. Pei Ling was instantly heartbroken. 3 months' work. Can I really gather so many spirit stones? The next moment, the steward of the Elders' Hall brought good news to Pei Ling. You don't have to worry about the fine anymore. The Miao Zhou and Li families want to pay off your fine for you. They want to buy your life. The Elders' Hall has assessed that you are unable to repay it, so they have agreed to their request. Pei Ling was startled. Don't you have any rules? Wasn't it agreed upon to be 3 months? The steward of the Hall of Elders chuckled lightly. Rules can be changed. The interests of the sacred sect come first. At this critical juncture of life and death, Pei Ling had a sudden inspiration. Wait, I can repay it within 3 months. I can have the leader of the Jingjing Mountain in the inner sect vouch for me. It was him who benefited when I joined the outer sect. The steward of the Hall of Elders thought for a moment. Although Jing Mountain isn't on good terms with the Miao family, he is still a distant relative of the immortal Miao. The Hall of Elders should still show some courtesy, so he said to Pei Ling, "Then let's go pay a visit to Leader Zhang. See if he's willing to vouch for you. If he says one word of falsehood, you'll be in big trouble." How miserable this man is. Out of the blue, someone came knocking and beat him up. Zin, who was drowning his sorrows in alcohol, was suddenly interrupted by a knock on the door. It turned out to be the people from the steward's hall, here to pay a visit. Xing Jingshan also looked frustrated. He probably has a disciple who caused trouble again. But in his current state, he couldn't face anyone. He could only use the excuse of seclusion to communicate remotely. It turns out it was because Pei Ling killed Miao Liuji and the other three, and couldn't he provide the fine? They came to ask him to vouch for them. Upon hearing this, Xing Jingshan, burning with rage, didn't care about face anymore. He rushed out and grabbed Pei Ling's neck. "You killed Miao Liu, didn't you? This beating is for the blame you made me take." At this moment, Xing Jingshan couldn't help but want to chop Pei Ling into pieces and make barbecue, but he was constrained by Lixianzi's relationship. He can't do anything to Pei Ling. He can only forcefully suppress his anger and help Pei Ling sign the contract. When the people from the Elders' Hall walked away, Pei Ling immediately broke into a joyful smile. "I guess my life is safe now." However, the next second Xing Jingshan threw a punch at him. Fortunately, Xing Shan was only pretending to catch a fly, scaring him for a moment. But Pei Ling sensed a trace of killing intent from the wind of the punch. Xing Jingshan, who had already walked back to the courtyard, asked about the amount of the fine. After all, he was the guarantor. Upon hearing it was over 74,000 spirit stones, Xing Jingshan immediately spat out a mouthful of old blood. "How could I, a mere inner sect pulse master, come up with that many spirit stones? How could you, an outer sect disciple, ever repay it? Isn't this obviously digging a pit for me? If it weren't for Lady Li protecting me, I'd be having barbecue right now." What shocked Xing Yinshan the most was, the three people Pei Ling killed were actually two at key condensation 4th level and one at key condensation 5th level. To be able to simultaneously slay 3 cultivators stronger than himself and still not be seriously injured, he really is extraordinarily talented. No wonder Fairy Li has taken a liking to him. But over 74,000 spirit stones, I really can't come up with that amount. I'll have to tell Pei Ling the way to earn spirit stones first. Let Pei Ling figure out how to earn some spirit stones on his own. If he still can't pay it back, then I'll help him out. Pei Ling hurriedly thanked Xing Jingshan. "After all, I can live for 3 more months." She then skipped away happily, leaving Xing Jingshan alone, confused in the wind. It's also an overpowered battle. Why is it that she remains unharmed while I end up battered? Look closely, this seductive woman is swinging the whip in her hand. She is ruthlessly whipping the beautiful woman kneeling on the ground. The beautiful woman who was being beaten not only held no resentment, but instead had a look of enjoyment on her face, and even made an unreasonable request to be hit harder. This because her master had said that only by learning to feel pain could one forge instruments of torture that would cause even more suffering to the victim. Such a bizarre scene immediately caused Pei Ling to lose all interest in crafting weapons. He turned around and walked towards the waiting peak. I originally wanted to perform well, but after a flurry of movements, I ended up drawing nothing but a Mario. The paper used for making the talismans turned out to be made of human skin, and the first lesson in talisman crafting was for them to pick a living person on the spot. They had to personally skin them to make the talisman paper. Such a bloody scene was something Pei Ling naturally wanted to avoid. Since weapon forging and talisman making aren't working, let's try beast control. Unexpectedly, beast control is even worse. The beast control instructor was saying to completely trust the beast 1 second, and the next second his arm was bitten off by the beast. Pei Ling was so scared he ran away. This is truly the style of a sinister sect. Isn't there anything normal to learn? But there's still one last school. If it really doesn't work, I'll quit. At worst, I'll sell the unwanted knife and pay the fine. Luckily, the instructor at Damfing seems normal. This gave Pei Ling a glimmer of hope. Just as Pei Ling was listening attentively, the system suddenly popped up a message. It detected that external forces are teaching alchemy. The system is recording. Pei Ling was overjoyed. This damn system has finally done something useful. Once the system finished recording, Pei Ling could already imagine himself reaching the peak of life. With the system's support, Pei Ling couldn't wait any longer. Immediately went to Damfeng's mentor's herbal shop and bought 2 sets of alchemy materials. Then, feeling excited, rented a D-grade alchemy room to prepare for refining pills. Originally, Pei Ling still had a bit of worry about his situation, but then he thought of the counterattack against Miao Lushan and his group. Now that Xing Jingshan is providing the guarantee, there shouldn't be any problems. As for the matter with Chen Huan, I'm sure old man Duamu has already taken care of it. His primary Tao is to focus on alchemy and earn spirit stones. With no more worries, Pei Ling immediately summoned the system and activated the one-click management mode. After half an hour of system operation, the first batch of bone tempering pills was finally completed. This batch yielded a total of 12 bone-tempering pills. Moreover, the color was even more refined than the ones he got from Zhang Jingshan. This filled Pei Ling with hope for the future. One bone-tempering pill could be sold to Bibala for 7 spirit stones each. One furnace is 84 spirit stones.